Have some fun tonight. Go get us a W. Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What the copy? Right foot down. We got to go, player. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm done with it. Fix your face. Set sail. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great. Ridiculous, man. Holy. You see that? Holy cow. Good job, man. 2 times, baby. Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah.
Hey everyone, and welcome to NWP on DannyBTalks tonight. Been a little bit since some content was here on the channel, but hey, we got a full 2-hour live show here tonight with me and the boys, Jarrett, Darian, and Eric. We're all gathered here today to talk about NASCAR. Let's get right into it after a dominating race by Hendrick Motorsports at Las Vegas. But first, I want to hear the hot takes. Jarrett, what you got to start us off?
All right. I'm just going to get ahead of this now. I knew before the season it probably was going to be an iffy prediction, and if I got it right, I'd seem like a damn genius. Unfortunately, it was one of my dumbest predictions of the year, and I'm going to own up to it already with William Byron making the playoffs. But I will say this. I don't think I was unwarranted in my prediction because William Byron is just really hot and cold. Doesn't matter what season you look at, it's hot and cold, and there's no consistency there. So my hot take is this weekend, or at least a weekend adjacent to this one, in the sense of performance, should be the norm for William Byron. This should not be something that William Byron shouldn't dominate a race and win, and us go, wow, that's shocking to see. He's a guy in a Hendrick car who's been in a Hendrick car for 6 years now and has never consistently put together a full season. He's had great runs where he will, say, go 15 weeks and all but 2 races are a top 10. And then he'll have runs like last year where he'll go 19 weeks with 1 or 2 top 10s. This needs to be consistent performance now. This needs to be the start of a big step because all 3 of his other teammates have shown, well, 2 of them are, have won championships. 1 of them has won multiple races in 4 in a season. All 3 of his teammates have shown that they can do that. It's Byron's turn to do that now.
Fox Sports, man, what can you say? I mean, like at this point, I mean, we're already 3 races into the 2023 season. So I feel like at some point, like all of the, constant complaints are eventually just going to feel extremely old because, I mean, we still have, a long way to go with them. But I have to give Danica Patrick her props. Like she was way better than Clint Boyer commentating the race. Like honestly, like and honestly, like I felt like she brought most of the energy throughout the broadcast too. Like I don't know, like I might be in the minority with that, but then when I posted something on Twitter about it, like a lot of y'all agreed. So I wouldn't mind seeing Danica Patrick commentate more races, me personally. Maybe we can sort of experiment her and Tony Stewart, perhaps. Maybe like I don't know, like I like their vibe in the booth too. But unfortunately, Fox still has a long way to go. But yeah, like basically my hot take is I would prefer Danica Patrick's commentating over Clint Boyer at the moment.
Okay. Jarrett, don't feel too bad about not having William Byron in your preseason playoff predictions. In my video, I had him 16th. It took until the last second for me to convince myself that Byron was a legit playoff contender. So you weren't the only one questioning him. But my hot take, and I don't want to spoil my picks that we'll get to in about an hour and a half or so, but Ford this weekend at Las Vegas across the board struggled. Brad Keselowski ran like 9th or 10th for a lot of the race. He was by far the best Ford most of the day. Logano started on pole and dropped like a rock. So my hot take is that while Ford is off to a slower start than the other manufacturers, they haven't yet won a points race. It's been all Chevy, and then Toyota won the Clash. I think Ford will bounce back in a big way at Phoenix this coming weekend. You look at last year, obviously the championship race, Logano and Blaney finished 1-2, but let's focus on Ryan Blaney for a second. He led over 100 laps in both Phoenix races. And if you look at Ford, so 2 races, 2 different top 5s, 6 Fords made up those top 5s. In that fall race, it was 4 Fords in the top 5. Now, there's a new aero package this week. I think that's going to play to Ford's strengths because clearly they don't quite have a handle of the intermediate aero package, so it can't really get much worse. My hot take is that Ford, while they're off to a really slow start, is going to have a big weekend at Phoenix here in just a few days.
Jarrett was talking good praises about the drive to 24, and for good reason. He got the win. But I want to say that for the 48, surprise, surprise, Danny B is going to talk good about Alex Bowman. And I noted this on Twitter during the race. At one point, he was 18th after the first round of pit stops. And I noted he was just flying through the field. Him and Blake Harris, whatever combination they've got going with each other so far, is off to a great start. I'm really impressed to see what they've been able to do. So far, Alex Bowman is the only Hendrick driver to get a top 10 in every race that we've had, including Clash. And if you want to include a Clash in there, he's had top 5s in 3 of the first 4 races of the year. So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of 48 this year. I didn't think he was going to be, as fast as the 24 and the 5, and it proved that way, but he was still right up there with them to get the 1, 2, 3 finish. So for the 48, for a guy that people were saying last year should be fired, I think he's proving exactly why they've gave him that contract extension, and I expect big things in the future for the 48.
What'd you make of his Phoenix scheme that he's running this week, the orange and purple?
I mean, it's just basically the same scheme they have for the season, but I like the colors. It's always for a good cause, and support the puppies.
Yeah.
Nice colorway. I like the colorway.
So what do you think the chat's gonna think? I want to know what they think is the hottest take of the night.
We all had some pretty 3 of us had some.
I can never tell if the chat's votes for who they actually thought had the spiciest
I always think
take.
it's a popularity contest. To be honest.
It's like whose take do they actually? I feel like whoever wins this vote actually has the most agreeable opinion. Maybe I don't know.
Let me.
I won saying Mike Joy was not on.
No, that is a good point.
Yeah,
that is a good.
But that was like a clear option.
I don't know. Like, I don't think any of ours were like really clear cut number 1 favorites, but that makes for some great parody in the polls.
I'm curious to know what the chat thinks for sure. But thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, good job, y'all.
Yes.
I forgot. I actually have to do the poll now.
Yeah, I get the rest of it. But,
all right,
there we
Paul,
go.
Answer me, Paul.
Paul?
Oops, I accidentally flashed the intro on screen. My bad. Hotkeys. Hell of a start. Hell of a start.
Jump scare.
1 second jump scare.
if you're listening to this on audio, this is why Jarrett edits it.
Yeah, this is why I edit.
All right, let's go.
I want to. Yeah. Anyway, what we got?
We had a race, didn't we?
We had a race
at your old home track, Darian.
Yeah, and honestly, that was like one of the most typical Las Vegas races you'll ever see. I mean, a lot of the younger fans didn't grow up with flat Las Vegas. So like whenever somebody says like, "Oh, this Vegas race sucks," I'm like, go back and watch those races, man. Barely any passing, but the drivers love the track for obvious reasons because they had a lot more input, I guess, back in those days. I mean, there's still a lot of input today, but with those high bankings, a lot can happen. But it seemed like this race, this edition of the Las Vegas Spring Race was just another typical Vegas race. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad neither. Honestly, like I wouldn't even call it mid. I would just call it like
a race.
A race. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know. Like we had the another restart too. So I feel like that sort of like, made the race better in some fans' eyes. But again, like the way I judge races are, the races as a whole. So as a whole, it was just a race where Hendrick Motorsports was 1, 2, 3. And we'll get
if you're a Hendrick fan, you're probably happy with that. If you're not, they're probably bored to death.
Yes. But the weather had a major factor though. That's just typical Vegas. Whenever it's extremely cloudy like that for most of the race, you're not going to see as much passing. But that final stage though, at the very beginning, once the sun peaked out a little bit, it started to get a little crazy. So hey, but props to William Byron, man. Like Jarrett said, this should be the norm from now on. Like, I don't know, like last year we saw him win 2 races or 2 races. And then he basically just disappeared until the playoffs started. Hopefully we don't see that because man, that 24 team, I mean, they were dominating. Like, I was shocked. Like, just the way he was able to drive ahead, away from Kyle Larson there. And Kyle Larson is supposed to be, the guy, right? But hey, William Byron, man. Hey, that potential might be fulfilled. We'll see.
I saw, I think it was Tyler Reddick had said that the next gen package at the moment, I think he said this on like Dale Jr. show, was like, he had said it's reverting back to the 550 package in a lot of ways because teams are figuring it out, adding downforce on it more.
And we kind of thought this might happen eventually.
So yeah. I'm wondering if a lot of that dominance too is partly just, between drivers and crew chief combinations. I mean, William Byron, I believe Rudy Fugle is his crew chief. Like, those two have always had good chemistry together. If they the two of them just figured something out, knocked it out of the park, and Hendrick overall did.
They didn't win 2 races last year in accident. They probably should have had a 3rd win at Darlington if you really want to think about it like that.
Yeah, and to Darian's point, I mean, higher banks than there used to be at Las Vegas, but also the cooler temperatures, that's always going to add grip in the track. It felt like on short runs, at least, they were close to full throttle around large portions of the racetrack. And anytime that happens, it's going to look like the 550 package. But, they could pass. There was definitely passing. You just couldn't pass William Byron or Kyle Larson. That was the problem. I mean, Tyler Reddick from 40th or whatever, 36th to 15th in like 15 laps to start the race. That's some good stuff. That's some good content. To echo Darian's initial point, it was just it reminded me of intermediate races I would go see at Texas growing up. Like, I looked forward to Texas Motor Speedway back when it was still good. I looked forward to Texas Motor Speedway, even though a lot of people didn't really. It was just kind of another average race, but I looked forward to it because you knew you weren't likely going to see anything crazy, barn burner, wreck for the win, last lap pass, but it was always just a solid race. Multiple lanes, some comers, some goers, a surprise here or there. Solid race. And that's what I thought of Las Vegas. Stage 3, when you had a couple of spins, a couple of wrecks, and a couple of restarts and some varying pit strategy at the end. Can we talk about that for just a moment? I'm shocked that nobody else stayed out the way Truex did. There are only 18 cars on the lead lap. Why, if you're like 15th, 16th, 17th, why would you not stay out and try to at least nab a top 10 when the worst you can finish is 18th? I don't know. That shocked me. I was surprised.
I'll say this. I think people should have, because we saw last year, I believe, and I remember this. But I remember this too. It doesn't necessarily, if you have enough cars, it won't take them 2 laps to get through. It'll take a little longer because if people remember last year, I had a good sum of money I could have won on Justin Haley, who had stayed out with 30 to go, and he held off the field for a while. And that car was like a mid-tier car, whereas, Truex's car was pretty good and held him off for, I believe, I can't see where on the line exactly.
They were side by side on the backstretch.
Yeah, he held the lead for like half a lap, but he was second, I think, when they took the white flag.
But yeah, but so somebody, if a few stayed out, I agree they should have. But I'm not surprised because nobody ever stays out and does that anymore. Like, except for 1 or 2, maybe here or there, or the teams that do try it do it with like 30 or 40 to go. I don't understand the strategy with it when there is the ability to hold them off. So I'm not surprised.
And also too, like, I mean, with the current playoff system we have, I mean, like, all you need is 1 win. So like, why not take the risk?
It baffles me why people don't, because it's shown that multiple cars can get through. Tire strategy matters, but not to the point that it used to on, like a higher horsepower package. You're burning off all the tires quicker and you have a higher reward. I don't understand why more teams don't take that risk. Especially mid-pack team.
Especially with 18 cars on the lead. I think it was 18. I'm like, the worst. I mean, I know there's a wreck, so I guess you risk being back there or something happening, there being a wreck, you get caught up in something. But I guess that happens anywhere. I mean, that happened midfield. If you're ahead of it, I guess you're ahead of it. So I don't know. I was just surprised.
I'm looking at, why not Kyle Busch try it? Yeah,
I was looking at Keselowski. Keselowski was the one I looked at because I think he was lined up something like, I think he was 15th or so, and he'd been top 10 all day. I don't know why he'd faded a little bit towards the end, but he had been 15th all day. So I was convinced he'd been top 10 all day. So I was convinced he had a decent enough car that if he stays out, he's not going to win unless like 5 or 6 others stay out too. But he might have finished top 5 and probably at worst 8th or 9th. And that would have been a fantastic day that I thought they deserved, but they didn't do it.
And
instead he got caught up in that wreck, I think, with Allmendinger.
It's kind of funny that think about that very last caution that we only saw MTJ be the only one who actually stayed out there in that. Yeah. And I very much remember 2020 when it was coming down to Blaney and Bowman. They were going to battle each other to the win, it looked like, but then a caution come out in that one. Well, Blaney and Bowman pit, but almost everyone else stays out, and that killed them. They didn't even finish in top 10 in that one. So I just find it funny that more people didn't try just staying out, because I saw that decision to pit literally cost them the race back in 2020.
I see a Shorty PJM saying Justin Haley P8, really excited about that. I believe he put on 4 tires at the end, so he had the opposite end.
I was gonna point these very notable finishers out. Bubba Wallace P4, and considering what happened the last time we raced at Las Vegas, this is a great result. Austin Cindric P6. The reason I'm high on this is because the boards were pretty.
Did he
bad.
also take 4 tires? Because he was not in the top 10 all day.
I think
he must
so.
Have taken
I believe,
4. Or he just got in the right line on the restart and something happened. I don't know.
But considering Ford was very bad, then I mean that's pretty solid. Then like you just mentioned, Justin Haley P8, but also Daniel Suarez. I mean, he was P10, but he was very fast all day though. It's just track positioning.
Just final restart.
Yeah.
And I think Suarez, like Bowman, is the only driver to have top 10s every week. Am I wrong about that? Is somebody else done it?
I can check.
No, I know Bowman and Suarez have. I don't know if anyone else has.
Which I know for Suarez, this race went a lot better. I think this was the one last year where he ended up like getting spun out and like hit the wall like 2 or 3 times or something like that.
So yes, Alex Bowman and Daniel Suarez are the only 2 drivers to score a top 10 in every race so far. Oh, nice.
That's big.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about Hendrick Motorsports, though? I don't want to gloss over that too much. I mean, 1, 2, 3. If it wasn't Byron, it was going to be Larson before that final caution.
And really, I don't want to put anything bad on Josh Berry's performance. He literally didn't know he was going to be driving his car until the last minute. So
that's and I don't know, for some people to say like, oh, he sucked. Like, well, yeah, he just.
And did he have like some sort of throttle issue?
I couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell if that was.
There you go. Yeah,
I couldn't tell if that was an actual mechanical problem or just hey, he's not familiar with how this car works problem.
It was a combination of both, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
He didn't get into the car officially until Saturday. I mean, we found out about. Well, we'll get to that later.
How long was the practice? Was it a 20-minute practice or was it a full hour?
It was
just
like
20 minutes.
It was 20 minutes separated into groups.
Yeah.
Separated.
I mean, it's not a lot of seat time.
You get him this week. He'll have his seat fitted better. I'm sure it was a very rushed fitting for that. He'll get more time on the simulator for it. He'll probably be in a much better position.
And they're giving everybody an extra hour of practice on Friday, I think, because of the new aero package that's being run. So
I know we harp on this all the time, but why does it have to take twisting NASCAR's arms to get practice? I just no other motorsport series in major motorsport series.
The TV providers. That's my biggest thing.
Well, they want more. They said they want more.
Oh,
it's NASCAR. It's just like, we need to keep the costs down. So no more practice and fire everyone.
Yeah, that's basically it.
That's their big plan.
Honestly, if they kept the current practice sessions, but added just one happy hour session, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
that'd be a lot better. That'd be way better.
All I need is 1 hour of practice
with everybody together. No groups, none of that. Just
let
1
them go.
Hour.
Don't make them park it on pit road. If they want to go back into the garage and turn some gears, let them do it. And that would be fine. I would be very much appeased. I don't want 3 hours of practice because I do like that. You might roll off Sunday and fire off wrong. May not be great, and that might lead to a lot of early passing opportunities. But we need an hour. I agree with Jared. That should be the norm everywhere.
Yeah, but really quick, back to your earlier. We were going to talk about Hendrick Motorsports. I don't want to gloss over. Hendrick Motorsports, man. It's. Gosh, top 3. The way they got it to me was very scary because at first I thought, oh yeah, Penske's going to dominate this race. They always do. Logano was up front there. And then after about 20, 30 laps, just completely fell off the pace. And Hendrick, just all their cars, really the Chevys in general, were just all gone. And then even Kevin Harvick on the radio said, yeah, the Fords are going to suck today. But
and then really they probably could have been there sooner if it just wasn't for, I think the 48 was a little slower in qualifying. That's why he was even back there in the first place.
Yeah, but and also considering that, again, these 1.5-mile tracks make up, a large portion of the schedule still. So if they're able to be that dominant right away, then it's going to be scary. But again, it's only one race though, so we'll see.
But you bring that up. Las Vegas for me is a litmus test on how good, like what teams are really good and set up for the season, and it can change as the season goes. But you're talking about more of them in the playoffs. I'm just thinking first round, Kansas Speedway. Then you look at the big one for me though is the third round. You look at Las Vegas, Homestead. Yeah, I know Homestead races a little differently, but still. Generally, the same principles go towards it. So if you're a Ford team, you really want to rely on Martinsville as your saving grace? Like that one alone?
But you know what's the sad part about it is I was watching the Fox pre-race show, and even Joey Logano in his interview was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, the Ford, yeah, we're gonna be really good. All the Penske cars are gonna be really good."
What's he gonna say? We're gonna suck?
But dude, I don't know. It's just, dude, I didn't expect him to fall off that much. Though.
No, I'm telling you, these cars are shit. They're just awful.
I didn't expect that much. Like I was shocked.
Yeah, I was surprised they fell off that much because I mean Blaney and Logano both had the Pennzoil logo on the hood. It's the Pennzoil 400. Logano won this race.
He always wins. Yeah,
2 years ago.
He always
won the fall
race.
Last
year he won. Yeah.
Not counting the 9 car. Looking at the next 6 races on the schedule, I'm willing to say that all 3 of the Hendrick cars will each have a win by these next 6 races.
I mean, if the Vegas race is any indicator, then yeah, I could totally see that. And then I mean, if we want to talk about the the drivers individually, I mean, we're on Danny's channel. We might as well start with Alex Bowman here, right? I mean, we're already seeing him benefit from the brand new crew chief.
I've had Coda circled since last year that I think he can win that one.
Yeah, so. That's a very interesting. Like this is going to be a very interesting season, and it's just crazy because a lot of us. I mean, even I had my doubts as well. I'm not going to lie, but I mean, some of y'all were like, "Oh yeah, fired out of there and stuff." But like now, it's like, hey, this was a put up or shut up type season, and already 3 races in, you're doing this good. Ooh,
like 2021.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, hey.
2021, he was up and down in 2021 though. The ups were really.
I'm saying going into 2021, people are like, okay, is he actually good, or is he just only good at the end?
Oh yeah.
Goes out there and wins 4 races still.
You can even make the argument, hey, he might have a better season than 2021.
Isaac is saying it was never McDowell supremacy. It's always been Blake Harris supremacy.
Hey, Blake Harris is the magic man, bro.
That could be true. That could be true. He's been so consistent start this year. That could be true.
If he wins the championship with Bowman, I will start the show going. Well, I'll make sure it's cool being on Eric's channel. But I'll go Harris supremacy.
Yeah.
But you know what'll happen then, right? And Danny, you're not gonna like this. This is the other side of that coin. Everyone's gonna be like, "See, it was never Bowman. It was always Blake Harris the whole damn time."
Yeah. Do that.
Oh, I could see it now. Twitter, it would be lit up.
It was never William Byron. It was field goal, and I guess that's a perfect segue.
Like, imagine what Corey LaJoie could do with Blake Harris, man.
Yeah, but the other
William
driver,
Byron though. I mean, he won twice last year. It was early both times. To get that win out of the way now, I just hope for consistency. I think Jarrett, you mentioned it at the beginning that he went like 18 or 19 races last summer with 1 top 10 finish. Like that's garbage. That's terrible. So can we get some consistency so that you're not going to the playoffs virtually ice cold? Like that's all I ask.
Yeah, because he started off, let's not get too far ahead. He started off last year very hot in the first few races, but then basically it was like once Logano wrecked him at Darlington, that just took all his pride and he went away.
That's the ceiling there. His ceiling, like, because we always talk about those debates back and forth about William Byron and Bowman. Like we can't deny it. Whereas like my honest thoughts on it is that Bowman is the more consistent driver. He might not have the highest ceiling of anyone in the Cup Series, but you're not going to be a 25th place driver with Alex Bowman on a consistent basis. He's too good. He's too good to be a 25th place guy. With William Byron, you have him like Chase Elliott championship level to start the year last year. But then you also throughout the season, like I think I was looking over that span that he like scored, like in the mid 20s of points. He was like right around, the colleague guys last year, the colleague teams, which is not the greatest to be around. There were a lot of teams out running that 24 car that shouldn't have been. So seeing him start out this hot, my own, like, that's my only thing is you got to be more consistent because I don't see why anyone should take Byron seriously until he can prove throughout an entire regular season that it's not just a fluke. Like, I think you take it seriously, he'll make it, but not the championship.
I need to see Byron honestly have the season that Chastain had last year, because Chastain was consistently usually in the top 5, top 10 last year, and that's why he was in the championship 4 ultimately.
Yeah, right now it's all potential. And, I thought he would have had, success a lot sooner once Chad Knaus paired up with him and stuff. But I mean, he was still obviously learning, but obviously
and that was just a transition
pairing,
at that point.
Yeah,
anyways.
the Rudy Fugle pairing is obviously paying dividends. It's just, like you said, it's just he is so inconsistent. And I mean, I feel like his ceiling is like he does have all the potential to be the best Hendrick Motorsports driver. He does. I mean, it may sound crazy, but I mean, I feel like he has all the intangibles and stuff, but it's just he can't put it together on a consistent basis, unfortunately. And it's gonna say a lot if he remains inconsistent with Rudy Fugle, because it's like, okay, who's the problem here? You know what I mean? Because I mean, they have great chemistry, but it's like, if you can't be consistent, then I don't know, you might have to change something up, maybe, but we're not at that point yet. We're still very early.
I don't think it's close season yet, but
no,
I there needs to be improvement this year. Like, I think I know people are saying how young he is, and I get that, but this is also year 6. Like, we're 6 years into this in the Cup Series.
But I just want to say this, because I've been a follower of Hendrick pretty much my entire life, and I've always seen, majority of the time they have 4 drivers. Usually it was always there's Gordon, there's Johnson, there's 2 more cars, and that's how it was forever. I really can't say we've been at a point where, yeah, there's Larson, there's Elliott, there's Alex and William, but I can't say that they're not still a chance that they could win a championship either. Versus in years prior, I really thought the only 2 Hendrick caliber cars for a championship was going to be a 24 and a 48. Now, I could see all 4 of them being there.
It's a very complete team.
It's the most complete. I'd say it's the most complete Hendrick since about 20. I'd say
14.
Since 20, between 2012 and 2015.
Which is weird, because when we saw this kind of rendition of them starting in 2018, people were saying they were dead.
When we started the show, yeah.
And now we're saying the same thing about Gibbs.
Yeah. Oh,
Stuart Haas.
No, Stuart Haas.
No, Stuart Haas. Yeah.
I don't know. Stuart Haas has been interesting.
I feel like Tony's a couple more bad seasons away from being a Fox broadcaster and NHRA driver.
Well, that's my thing with Stuart Haas. I know we're kind of getting sidetracked here, but it is my idea with Stuart Haas. It makes it different than Hendrick or Gibbs. Is that the team owner seems just done being around NASCAR. Tony is becoming a lot like Chip Ganassi, in my opinion. What I mean by that is he has so many hands and so many cookie jars that he can just exit right there. Well, to be fair, one of those cookie jars is also the same place that his wife is at week in and week out.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
That's a pretty big cookie jar.
But back to Hendrick.
The cookie jar could actually tell him where to reach if needed.
and let's just say Tony Stewart, he also can do whatever he wants with his cookies, because we know he likes to dip them in soda too.
Yeah.
Soda cookies. That's right. But the final Hendrick driver in the race, I mean, Kyle Larson. What else is there to say?
Kyle
about
Larson.
It's just typical Kyle Larson performance. So yeah,
there's not much else to add. I mean, it was interesting. This race was kind of lost for him on pit road because Byron's team got William out with 2 tires faster than Larson's team did 2 tires. It's a very small thing to note, but I just remember pit crew won Larson that championship in 2021, in the final race. So it's just kind of something to follow. I think Larson's got one of the best pit crews, but I think so does Byron. So it's more of a Hendrick across. Just Hendrick has no holes at this point.
Well, really, they all got good pit crews. I know the last caution before what was the very last one, I think the 48 actually won the battle on pit road for that one.
Yeah, I mean, so they really just don't have any holes except for the 9 car at the moment, which we'll talk about in a few moments.
More of a bit of a break, but
it's a temporary. It's like they dug a hole; they're going to fill it in a few weeks, probably.
Yeah,
they'll probably fill it at Coda.
at the end of the year, that 19th probably still going to have 2 wins. So
Oh, it will. Yeah,
But
but
they-
9 cars gonna be in the playoffs.
But they were kind of like Joey Logano in a sense. They were flying in this race.
Oh yeah, that Logano crash was for a spin. It was very dramatic.
The fact that he had all 4 wheels off the ground at one point.
That's not the first time that's actually pretty common at Las Vegas. I remember the first ever qualifying session on the new configuration. There were so many spins. Paul Menard had all 4 of his wheels up in the
hard for
air.
Menard.
Yes. Oh yeah. I missed that
hey,
name.
let's not forget the Rick Ware crash that was never on camera. Where the one photographer got the 15 like sideways on the wall, basically.
Yeah, I mean, again, Vegas is it's a mile and a half, but it's a very interesting mile and a half. A lot of character on it too. A lot of character, but
I like Vegas races. I'll be honest. I've been a little less forgiving than I think some fans. I gave it like a 4.5 out of 10 personally. I thought it was because I thought it was dull because there was really honestly the little bit of strategy there was for the most part inconsequential. The racing after the first stage, the second stage was brutal. I'm sorry, that
I'll
second
give you that.
stage.
Second stage was brutal.
I think I go into Las Vegas races knowing like, okay, this isn't as bad as Texas, but it's not going to be like an auto club race either. So I don't need to get my hopes too high.
I was expecting, for me with Las Vegas, I expect the same thing I get out of a Kansas race, and I enjoy Kansas races. That's the reason I go to them. I wouldn't go to them every year if I hated it. I'm not that much of a masochist, but I was expecting a little more, and it does fit, I should say, into a couple of the last few intermediate next gen races. There have been a lot, and next gen races in general, they have been getting a little more dominated. I think that might have been part of it. There wasn't that much racing up front, and Imperial Fox doesn't show much outside the top 5 unless they're doing a sponsor segment to cut off Danica. I just want to say this, going off again on another tangent. I feel bad for Danica because she
so good.
Well, she would bring up so many points, and then Clint would be like, "I don't really think so," and it's like, Clint, stop. Like
she did get a couple things wrong. My favorite bit was early on. She's like, the outside on these restarts looks dominant, and then as she was saying that, like I think Chastain was just making a pass on the bottom.
Yeah. So I don't say she was perfect, but if it really felt
she was trying.
She was.
When Mike Joy had to cut her off for that, I don't remember what it was, Coca-Cola Family of Drivers, whatever. No, it was the Toyota Aero segment with Larry McReynolds. I love Larry Mack, but why did we come back from a commercial only to show like a 90-second full screen, basically sponsorship, when Danica's trying to tell us about Tyler Reddick carving through the field?
Because it's Fox Sports. That's why.
I just
basically on the week of International Women's Day, which, by the way, tell a woman in your life that you think of today on International Women's Day.
Yeah.
On the week of that, we bring in Danica Patrick to get mansplained by a Clint Boyer, basically.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Danny.
We're checking off every box.
We're checking off every box. Yeah, the freaking. Oh my god, I did not expect to hear you say that, Danny. That's why I'm shocked.
I mean, basically, that's what it sounds like when you say it like that.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, Clint Boyer though, I don't know. It's just I can't get around to him in the booth. I don't know if it's one of those generational things, but no, because I like Mike Joy still, and he's like way older than me. But I don't know. I can't wait for Kevin Harvick to get in the booth next season. I know we're already 3 races in, still have a ways to go, but I don't know. It's like being a dead horse. I feel like it's just not really going to get any better. And I feel like the next time we should comment on it is
when it gets really worse.
Yeah, if it gets like really worse or really better,
I know it's the same thing over and over again, but I kind of argued this after the race on Sunday. I was like, bring up still problems you have with it, because if you say nothing, they can just
different problems.
I'm not saying go after people on Twitter. Honestly, I'm just avoid Twitter. But at the same time, if there's something that you're not crazy about, still say it. Just don't, like us, talk about it for 20 minutes before, like we did before the show. But there was one other thing I wanted to ask you guys. I personally thought it was, but do you guys think the Eric Almirola caution at the end warranted NASCAR throwing a caution. I think so because he was sideways in front of the field, but I noticed a lot of people didn't.
So, all right, he was sideways. Yes, you're right. It did warrant a caution. It was just crazy to me. I feel like NASCAR, they were looking though, because that was quick. That was really, really, really quick though. Like, I mean, like he had just gotten sideways and there it is, caution immediately, you know? So yeah,
it makes you question when they don't see other things.
Yeah, you know,
we know you have eyes. We know you see everything.
Yeah, so
because of things like this.
Jared, I fully agree that did need to be a caution, but it was just suspicious there. I was like, whoa, that was pretty fast. That was really fast.
Oh, it was. I will say it was fast. We talked last year and the year before on this show so much about NASCAR not throwing a caution at the right time. I feel like it's hypocritical that, you know, when a car is actually sideways in front of the field, they should have left it green. Who cares? You know, there's smoke coming off it.
And
I think they should have probably thrown a caution for the last lap wreck too. I know it happened towards the back, but
it was when they came around. Yeah,
I'm with Jared on this one. I remember many truck races. There was one at Charlotte where there clearly should have been a caution thrown early. I was at the Bristol 2021 race and watched a truck be slow on the top forever until Kyle Larson finally hit it. They didn't throw a caution. Yeah, I'd rather them be throwing it too early than not throw it at all.
Yeah, and really quick, Danny, if you want to put a really quick poll, just like asking the chat,
Yeah,
like what did they think? What did they think of that?
Yeah, we need to go ahead and get rid of that.
Oh, I won! I won the hottest take! Oh my god!
What was the percentage?
A while ago.
34%, Eric E step 30%, Jarrett 20%, Danny B 14. Whoa.
This is the first one I haven't won.
Yeah, I think
so.
Gotta get spicy.
Damn.
So I mean, I'm noticing I'm always like the ones that least. That means they really agree with what I say.
It's hard not to agree with Alex Bowman did well.
Yeah.
He keeps
Okay.
You have to be a freaking Alex Bowman, like really bad Alex Bowman hater.
All right.
I think, yeah, that's a hot take.
All right. So what poll should we say, Darian? I'm sorry.
So just ask them like if the Eric Almirola poll should have been a caution or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you
yes
what, when I streamed after the race, I had like a bunch of people in my chat were like, Larson got robbed, or like they're trying to rob Hendrick, and I'm like,
Larson fans in the last year or so I've noticed have gotten very loud.
Hold on.
Loud.
Hold on, Jared. They're trying to rob Hendrick. Meanwhile, they're 1, 2, 3. How are you gonna rob 3 cars? Like one's bound to win. They were that dominant.
Yeah, you don't know. Truex could have held the lead if things happened.
Keselowski could have taken 0 tires and made things more interesting up front. But...
Yeah, more cars could have made it more interesting, except Truex, just him. But
realizing my verbiage for this is kind of weird. Should Eric Almirola have been a caution? Just should he be a caution? Should he be a caution
should he
for
be
existing on the track?
Caution? Yeah,
our chat would say yes in a heartbeat. They are not. They do not seem to be Almirola.
He's on the track. Caution.
But speaking of it, I mean, they seem to generally agree. I think, yeah, like they understand. Like, yeah, he was sideways. It was just, it was just really quick though. It was really quick. They were just looking. They were just looking for a reason. Like, there's that, you know. So.
That's gonna get taken out of context. Oh man, what do we got next? We need to move on from.
Yeah, this is
wait. Well, and on the subject of eyes, we need to talk about ratings.
No, do we have to? No.
What does eyes and ratings have to do with them?
Because you have eyes on the TV screen, Eric.
You're right. I was trying to figure out the segue. Eric. Danny's usually the master of segues. This one was too smart.
I'm still on it.
I can roll in here. So 3.991 million viewers watched this race, which is 12% off of last year's. I will say, just to start with, I think part of it was the Chase Elliott effect, but I still don't think that we would have seen an increase of ratings this week, personally.
Yeah,
I don't think it'd be as bad, though.
This is where Jarrett comes in with a but.
Yeah,
that was a good impression.
But we also only had 813,000 in the key demo, which was 20%. Worth noting, both IndyCar and Formula One were down from last year, and that's why I say if the hottest sport in America, which make no mistake, right now growth-wise, Formula One is. if they're having a decrease in ratings in a similar field as you, I really don't see why NASCAR would without their most popular driver. I still think, though, it would have been a 6 to 8% decrease around what we've seen so far this season. But I mean, I think that the Chase Elliott effect still is pretty big in that regard too. And you've seen it before. You've seen it with Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, so.
Yeah, a really quick segue though. This still has to do with the ratings, just IndyCar wise. It's just funny to me. I feel like IndyCar had the biggest W despite losing viewership because
the best race.
Not only that, but also a lot of people didn't even know they were back this weekend. I'm serious. They found out the day of. There was quite a few.
How was that
found out the day of? Well, I don't know because
seems like an L in your marketing department.
Well, no, you would expect the rating to be a lot lower though because of that. So their marketing department still has to have, they have a lot of work to do still though.
My argument is kind of like with NASCAR is their core base is there. And I think NASCAR's core base is growing. We saw it with the increases this week with Xfinity and trucks. But
once again, they've increased almost every race this year so far.
Yeah, but sizable amounts too. It's just with me, like, you talked about the IndyCar one. Like, what's the point? You had a great race, but we really saw it, and that's kind of what NASCAR. It's like, we can try and manipulate it to say it's good, and again, I still think it would have been better had Chase Elliott been there. I don't think that's a hot take to say that you need your most popular person in your respective sport. Like, would anyone watch a Chiefs game if Pat Mahomes wasn't playing?
Growing up, nobody was a Chiefs fan growing up, so no.
And I just got to say this. I know no one was really worried about this, but the only really competition that NASCAR has right now is XFL and USFL, and I'm just looking at their numbers. Yeah, they're no threat anytime soon. 3 XFL games averaged 571,000 views.
Go St. Louis. Go Battlehawks.
Houston Roughnecks, I think, are still undefeated.
Yeah. Go Battlehawks.
You guys know the team names?
Yes.
Just because it's the only reasonable football team in Southeast Texas.
Houston is my team because their logo resembles the Oilers, and that's, the Titans' history.
Oh,
but yeah, XFL is not going to be any threat to NASCAR's ratings.
But unfortunately, though, the ratings in general, it was an L for everybody. Everybody was down. So
I think the NASCAR one can be at least partially explained because of Chase Elliott not racing. But it's the IndyCar one. It's like, how did they butcher the marketing so bad that they had a 16% decrease?
Yeah.
And F1, that's a new season of Drive to Survive came out like a week ago. How did they go down?
See, that's to my earlier point. It's like with IndyCar's marketing mishaps, like, I was expecting a way lower number than just 15-16%.
And remember too, I believe IndyCar had less viewers than Formula One, and IndyCar was on main NBC.
Yeah, that's a major problem. It's a major problem still.
And the F1 race was at like 10 a.m. Central.
I think?
No, 9 a.m. Central.
I'm used to a lot of them being 7 or 8 a.m.
It was like an hour and a half before the IndyCar race. So I mean, the way I have to give credit. This is probably by NBC's moving the IndyCar race around. Like the way they had it all set up is you could watch pretty much all 3 races right in a row.
It felt like Memorial Day weekend. It was nice.
I did see somebody bring up. I saw some people bring up, I should say, on the monstrosity of Twitter that maybe. I'm sorry, I hate Twitter.
Really?
And it was pre-purchased too. I just want to say that for anyone trying to make anything out of this.
Hey, Jared, you gonna join Twitter Blue, Jared? You about to pay $8?
No, I'm gonna go get a couple Chipotle melts for that $8. But I saw a good point on that crap site, and it was that maybe, especially for core motorsports viewers like us who will watch multiple races, I mean, are you really wanting to sit in front of your TV from like 9:30 in the morning all the way to 6 at night on what was a pretty, at least for me, I could tell outside, was a pretty pleasant Sunday afternoon. Like, and I'm not trying to make it as an excuse. I'm just saying maybe it explains why we saw that kind of, overall motorsports decrease. Because I understand NASCAR, the start of this year would have been down, especially with Elliott being out. I can understand IndyCar being down just because obviously their marketing wasn't that damn good if even IndyCar fans really didn't know it was coming back. But Formula One being down is what really sets like not an alarm bell, but just a light off. Like there is something more going on. And maybe it's TV. Maybe it also is just less people watching TV. I get that. But I feel like it was almost a hodgepodge of different problems all thrown into one little bowl.
Jeez, I just looked at the IndyCar schedule. They started this week and they don't race again until April 2nd.
Yep, that's part of the problem. Yep, we had an awesome season opener, but you won't see another race for almost a month.
You got to do some guessing as to when they're racing.
Yeah, so that's they have a lot of problems though. Not as they have a lot of problems, unfortunately. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah. And to end the poll, people think that Eric Almirola should be a caution.
Oh, did someone say poll? Did somebody say poll? Did somebody say poll? And it's time for the famous iceberg poll. The famous iceberg poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Sorry,
answer us now, poll.
Well, I will answer you. My YouTube app actually completely restarted and then popped back up, so I had to pull the poll back up.
Go figure YouTube.
But luckily, that's only just for the comments because I have everything else written down. So 10% of you thought that this race was a great race. So you know what, guys? We do know at least 10% of our fans are Hendrick Motorsports fans. I'm kidding. 46% said it was a good race, so a net positive of 56%. 32% said it was just a plain average race. 9% said below average. 4% bad, so 13% net negative on this one. We have a familiar first commenter, MVR owner. So is it a positive, a negative, or a meme?
Meme.
I'm going to say positive.
Positive.
Okay. Here's what he had. He said, I love how post-race, Danica and Clint were talking about how, quote, his career began on a computer and that computers and sims are the future. Side note, did anyone else realize this race actually ended under caution? Clint Boyer said something about it in post-race as well.
I clearly didn't realize. I thought it ended under green.
I didn't realize that.
I knew a wreck happened. I don't think they threw to caution. I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
They must have waited a while.
Yeah.
It was when they were like coming to the line, I think. So like once the race was decided.
Oh, okay. So,
fair enough.
Once it was 1, 2, 3, according to the conspiracy theorists.
So we got a meme and a lesson. There you go. I didn't know that.
Should we make lesson the fourth option?
Educate us.
Teach us a lesson, guys.
I like that one. Danny, you need to do that at some point. Like, educate us. Pull. And just do something about us.
Side note, I just want to say we have Mittens Racing Cat in the chat again.
Aw.
Oh,
what life are you on now, Mittens? 6, 7?
Hey, did y'all see there's a whole video that was uploaded basically doing a whole investigation on who hit the cat? Yeah, seriously.
Did they figure out who did it?
So it was between Ty Gibbs and Eric Almirola.
Oh.
Another reason for the chat not to like Almirola.
Side note, I have waited to say this to you, Darian, but that video you posted about the fan who watched I cannot. I had to click like don't show this because that picture you used in the thumbnail of the dead person just freaked me out so much.
That's a mask, bro. It's a Halloween mask.
That's a Halloween mask.
Yeah,
it's a mask.
I just freaking edited it like crazy, bro.
I saw that. I was like, wow, what a picture, Darian.
Hey, but bro, the 2011, 2012 seasons, bro, they're ruined for everybody.
Darian, I don't know if you saw my comments on that video or not.
I hearded it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't go back and check my comments usually because
I know the story behind that. I saw the picture. I was like, I get it away.
I'm laughing at this comment on your video, Darian. I know we're getting really meta here, but it said that just brought the term "diehard fan" to
Okay, let's get back to the poll, bro.
Yeah, sorry.
So after the show, go watch Darian's video.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. In a morbid way. So looking at some comments from the poll and of the race, I'll read a couple. The top comment was from Sans Geek, who said the first 200 or so laps was a snooze fest, but the last half of stage 3 was entertaining and had some great racing. Love seeing Byron with the clutch out win. He deserves it. So
just be consistent.
Let's see what else we have. I'm not reading books, people. I do that in my spare time.
Hold on. Can I just read something real quick?
Of course.
To answer Eric's earlier question, Mittens the Racing Cat said Mittens has 5 lives left, and I love Ty Gibbs until he took my 6th life.
Also,
Hey, he gets us. He's just trying to show him Jesus right up in person.
Here comes Jesus.
I broke you.
That's funny. That's a good. That's a hell of a sponsor activation.
You know those billboards. Get ready to meet God. That's Ty's next
We
game.
broke Darian.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Oh, that was funny.
I'm sorry, I need to get my composure back, bro.
And we're just talking about how Mittens.
Bro, let's get back to the poll, man.
I'm a Christian. I'm allowed to laugh at that.
Let's get back to the poll, bro.
Darren,
I can't do this.
we're just talking about how Mittens met the subject of your video yesterday.
God.
CJ Odell says Trackhouse has had 5 top 10s in 6 starts. Suarez finished in the top 10 for the 3rd week in a row. Chastain just narrowly missed out on a 3rd top 10 in a row by finishing 12th. Also, shout out to Wallace for a top 5. Cindric and Haley also for top 10s. Yeah, Austin Cindric, I was like a no-show all race and then just goes full Matt Kenseth and pops up in 6th at the end. I'm gonna get all your guys' favorite drivers mentioned at some point. I got 2 down, 1 to go. Let's see. Blake says 7 out of 10 race overall. Thought the booth was better too. Danica getting interrupted for a planned segment was funny.
Yeah, she's just doing her job, and Mike's like, "Excuse me, give me that."
Skip.
Eric, where'd you go?
Eric,
he'll come back.
He's just laughing at the Ty Gibbs thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Matthias for this comment says, had some exciting moments here and there, but overall, I thought it was decent. I don't think it ever went as far down as average. Always happy to see my boy Willie B score a win. I'd say it's a fair, especially like for your guy winning a race. I'm telling you, when Dale Jr. would win a race, all right, there I go. I got all of them. When Dale Jr. would win a race, I would just straight up be like, it was the greatest race ever. It was amazing. And people are like, that race really sucked.
Sucked,
no, it was
bro.
awesome. Junior won.
The 2004 Fall Phoenix race was the greatest Phoenix race ever.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, great. Perfect.
Wins by 3
this,
seconds.
This is one of my favorite accounts because they just post the same comment every week and it never gets old for me because it's just the joke is good.
I think I know what it is.
NASCAR Shill said, thank you, Steve Phelps, Steve O'Donnell, and Ben Kennedy. What a great race. He just says it every week. It's just a positive thing to them. Every week.
What a gimmick to be doing.
I have a guy who comments on every one of my posts, shorts, and videos saying Marty Robbins. That's it.
Yeah. We got that one too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
At least you know what to expect.
Yeah.
Let me get down to the bottom. We can get the spicy one.
Oh, down to the gutters. I love going there.
Well, this is where the Hendrick haters are.
Yep.
Or the Elliott fans.
Sorry.
Wow. I'm surprised. There's no cussing. I can read this.
Oh. Interesting.
So I'll read the last 5 since they're actually able to be read. Ill says, what a terrible broadcast by Fox and a terrible funeral procession on track. Damn,
yo.
Andre says, the most boring race I've seen in years. What the hell was that flag in the end? The guy maintained his car. He never spun out.
Guys, I can name like 5-10 more boring races than that one.
A bunch of numbers to spell out Ghost Killer says not a real win.
Wait, what?
Okay.
That was as real as it ever looked to me.
No, he's trolling, bro. Don't fall for that.
Black Hat 992 says, wow, that was boring. And Logan England simply leaves mid. Now I want to say none of those positive or negative statements were mine. They were all other commenters. So if you take this out of context, I will put this context underneath where
that what's up? What's up, Noah Lewis? Hey, Danny, if we want to mod Noah Lewis.
I just made him a mod.
Yeah, what's up, Noah?
If I see Peter again, I'll mod him if I don't have it already.
Oh, I thought you already had him modded. Well, I could be wrong.
Maybe I do, but Noah is too.
Yeah, I saw Peter in here too. What's up, guys? What's up?
We'll
see y'all at Atlanta this weekend.
But that was the poll. And
next weekend.
That's what everyone thought.
Yes. And that'll conclude this edition of the famous Iceberg Poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
Get some water. I was choking after the meetings and the
had to
sent to
refresh.
Jesus.
But we were having fun on the show, but now I think it's about that time we get into the serious, stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Hendrick Motorsports goes 1, 2, 3. Probably could have been 1, 2, 3, 4 if Chase Elliott was racing. I guess we can kind of cover that a bit. I mean, Josh Berry filling in, finished 29th, but we know now at this point Chase Elliott is going to miss at least the next 6 weeks with the leg injury. He fractured his left tibia in a snowboarding wreck.
Not the fibia,
Gosh.
the tibia.
I get them mixed up all the time. So Josh Berry filling in. We know Josh Berry is going to fill in at all the oval tracks until Elliott comes back. And Jordan Taylor, I'm excited about this. Jordan Taylor is going to drive the 9 at COTA. I'm going to be there. And I mentioned this in my show today. I feel like we still occasionally see a road course ringer like Kimi Räikkönen last year, and I guess this year again as well. But it's rare these days that a ringer comes in and just like runs up front. Like they might crack the top 10 if they're lucky. But I think Jordan Taylor, he's going to be a top 5 threat, no doubt.
He's going to bring back the road course ringer in NASCAR.
He very well might.
So
that's exciting.
So I'm looking at the races that would have Barry in. His last one, well, hopefully last one, would be Martinsville. Don't count him out for that one.
Yeah,
he gets Richmond and Phoenix this weekend as well. So
hey,
that works to his favor.
Josh Berry though, perfect replacement. I know, the dream scenario would have been Jimmy Johnson returns to Hendrick Motorsports, but no, Josh Berry, he's a very capable replacement.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I would have loved maybe like a Martinsville to have seen Dale Jr. run one race in the next gen.
Hey, I would have
buying all the Martinsville tickets in the world.
Hey, I would have liked that too. But you never know with this next gen and Junior and the crowd. So of course,
the Corey LaJoie. I would love to talk to Corey and see if there was any truth to the rumors that he was in discussion or that he was going to drive the 9.
I was thinking about that being similar to David Reagan when he stepped in for Kyle Busch, because I think he was with Front Row at the beginning of the year.
So. Yeah, that sounds right.
He was with Front Row, I think.
But also
was
he
with Front Row or was he with Michael Waltrip Racing with the Toyotas when it came with for Kyle Busch?
I thought he got hired by Michael Waltrip after doing so well in the 18.
Might have been that.
Yeah.
Of course, that year, all I remember Michael Waltrip Racing. All I remember Michael Waltrip Racing for was Brett Moffitt being down a cylinder and restarting in front of the whole field at Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
No, that was my bad, Jared. I'm sorry. I don't want to mess up your mic or anything like that. So my bad. But,
no, it's okay.
But anyways, also though, Corey LaJoie, he had talked about this publicly. I believe it was a couple years back. He actually wrote a letter to Rick Hendrick saying like, "Hey, I want to drive for you and stuff." So like, I'm like, okay, well, he's doing way better now, but then also, I like that. Well, he's doing way better now, but then also too like, hey, an opportunity just popped up out of nowhere, not the way you want it per se, but still, it was looking like a slight possibility though. It's just that,
I just wonder if it was true. Like, I want to know if it was actually true. And I feel like Corey would be the kind of guy to be honest and say, yeah, it was, or it wasn't, because I saw a couple reporters were saying like, hey, there's 2 choices that are being mulled over. One would be surprising. And then you had all the Corey LaJoie rumors. And I'm like, that. I feel like there might have been some truth to it. But like you said, Darian, he's actually gotten off to a hot start this year with Spire, 3 straight top 20s. By their standards, it's a really good start to the season. So it would have been great for him personally to go to the 9, maybe contend for a win over the next few weeks. But I would hate to mess up the momentum that they seem to be building long-term over at Spire. Like if they brought in Hocevar or somebody to drive the 7, I don't think they would get better.
And shout out to Carson Hocevar really quick, bro. You know what you was doing, bro. You was trolling, bro. Like, come on, bro. Chill out.
Yeah,
chill out.
He knew what he was doing,
bro.
He had a chance to, tie into what he personally had going on.
He said
the same thing as Noah and the Pin.
Bro, he was saying like
77 car and the Xfinity Series starting at Dover.
But his explanation was like, oh, I meant to put 7 p.m. Please, it's not that hard to put p.m., bro. Like, I love Carson, bro. He's funny. But anyways, back to Hendrick though. Back to Chase. I guess I can start off with giving my thoughts on it. It is very unfortunate. Obviously, I feel like our generation is blessed in a sense because we didn't grow up watching drivers, die on the racetrack. But whenever they get hurt though, in and out of the car, it still sucks because I mean, you want to see, you know, the most talented guys out there. And Chase Elliott, I mean, I know some of y'all like to troll him and stuff, and you know, I did to a certain extent, like, oh, Mickey Champion, oh, but no, let's get serious here, y'all. Like, you know, he's already a champion every season in the Cup Series. He has finished at least top 10 in points. So it's very unfortunate that this happened, you know, when he was just, you know, having fun, just, you know, snowboarding and stuff. And my concern is that, you know, a lot of us, you know, a lot of fans have they've been saying like, oh yeah, you know, Kyle Busch comeback about to happen. Whoa. Now we don't even know like officially how long he's going to be out. Right now it says 6 weeks. But that could turn into 8 weeks, 10 weeks, depending on, you know what, you know, a bunch of stuff can happen. A bunch of stuff can pop up with his recovery and stuff like that. Yeah.
And,
so
and I've been talking about this with these guys here. One thing I'm curious about, if you know Darian does the Darian's betting odds, if you're a betting person, well, I think before this happened, Elliott's odds winning championship were plus 700. They've now went to plus 950 after 1 week out. Keep an eye on this. See where he's looking at in 6 weeks. And if you think he can pull off a Kyle Busch, could be a good opportunity. Just saying.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
for me with Elliott, I feel like I have a unique perspective on this because I didn't do it snowboarding, but I broke my leg before. I broke my leg, foot, ankle, all this stuff at the same time. And the recovery for me actually is really quick because I did everything the doctor told me to. We followed up on every, you know, appointment, everything like that. For me though, the worst part was trying to rush it back. And there were only 2 times I tried rushing anything. And it both had to do with getting the cast off and going to the boot. And when I got the walking boot put on the first time, it was too early, so I didn't have enough support on the broken bone yet. More painful than the actual, like I would not wish that pain on anyone. Like the actual, like I brought this up the other day, like when I broke it, it hurt, obviously it hurt, but it wasn't, you know, for me, it wasn't like the worst pain I've ever felt. You know, I obviously couldn't walk on it, but I wasn't like bawling. I wasn't making a, you know, as much a scene as I couldn't, you know, it could have. I wasn't meaning to not be able to get up. But when I got the cast taken off and the boot put on, I like was uncontrollably crying. I was in the most pain I've ever been in. I was begging basically like some kind of change, whether it was, you know, to up the pain meds for it so it would go away, get the cast back on, whatever it had to be. And so where I tie this in on is for Elliott's case, you know, this season, yes, 6 weeks. And if that's the case, then awesome, because I think NASCAR needs Chase Elliott back. But long-term has to be the thought process here. If he gets hurt again and like really screws up that leg, then we might not be looking at 6 weeks. We might be looking at an entire season lost, or it going into the next year, because that's stuff that can, those aches, those pains, they can carry over. So that for me is where, and it's the same thing with Kyle Busch in 2015 is where I'm thinking on this is I don't want him to rush his way back and then get more hurt than before.
Yeah, you'd hope that he definitely has the best team of doctors around, and you'd hope he's driven to follow their guidance to a T. So, yeah, exactly. I don't want him to rush it back. Everyone wants him back. The team, the sponsors, everybody wants him back as soon as possible.
The sport,
yeah,
wants him back.
But don't rush it back. You know, NASCAR's basically already said you're going to get a waiver. So, I mean, like, honestly, push it an extra couple weeks. I know you want to come back. It sounds like maybe Talladega. I would wait a week. Don't come back for Talladega.
Or just
Whatever's
right at the back and then have someone jump in like Denny Hamlin did.
Yeah, you could do exactly. That's actually not a bad idea. You could do that. Because ultimately with no top 30 in points rule, you just have to win a race. And if he comes back with 10, 15, maybe close to 20 regular season races left, yeah, Chase Elliott can win one of those. I think everyone would. I think all of us here, everyone watching, would pick Chase Elliott to win one of the final regular season races. He's just that good. But if he's not 100%, if he comes back and he's not 100%, then I don't know. Maybe Chase Elliott's not in condition to contend for wins. So you want to make sure this is healed completely. I think he will. So
I saw someone say, the big difference between this and Kyle Busch's is that Kyle Busch didn't have to worry about stages taking away extra points that they have today, but also the Chase Elliott's advantage. He doesn't have to be in the top 30 like Kyle Busch had to be. The biggest thing, one would assume, it's Chase Elliott. He's going to get the waiver. Tony Stewart got a waiver in 2016 after his what was it, UTV, whatever the term is. He had a crash and something like that in the off season. He got a waiver for that. One would assume, but the question is also there, do you think he should get a waiver? This was an extracurricular activity that in all terms of arguing was avoidable in a way. But, not going to say, oh, shame on you, Chase, but, there's an argument to be made there.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's a fair point.
I'll make the argument, and I guarantee people will disagree with me on it, but I don't honestly like the whole waiver deal no matter what, because it hasn't been yet. It would take a lot of circumstances to do so, but this can be exploited. I don't like it also because of the top 30 rule. Now there is, he can win a race that is challenging, and that's not what I'm talking about in what I'm saying here, but it is not as much of a challenge to luck into a rain win or have a good strategy call than to get in the top 30 in points and make up that time when we now have a much more competitive field than we even did back in 2015. And it's one of the things I think we overlooked when we talked about when the top 30 rule got taken away, is that it's almost like NASCAR is making it as simple, the most simple paths possible to make these the postseason, to let anyone in no matter what happens. And then if you even look at NASCAR's precedent, allowing Tony Stewart, and I remember that was controversial at the time because when they let Kyle Busch in, they said it was during a racing incident. So I just want some consistency here. Like, is just everything waiver worthy? Because I personally think that everything isn't. If you do something extracurricular and get hurt, that's on you. You made that decision, just like Denny Hamlin did in 2010, just like Tony Stewart did in 2016.
If the president was set with Tony Stewart in 2016, I think that's where it needs to stay. The only thing I could think of in more recent time was Brett Moffitt being hurt in a motocross accident, but he never needed a waiver because the COVID pandemic actually kept the sport out long enough for him to fully heal from that to where he didn't even need the waiver.
Yeah. And really,
so I agree with Jared. I think the precedent ultimately says that, he should and will get a waiver, but I honestly do agree. Like, I think there needs to in the future, maybe not, maybe the line has already been set. If you get injured at all, you're going to get a waiver. But, personally, I think Tony Stewart getting a waiver in 2016 was a little silly. And I honestly think Chase Elliott getting a waiver this year is a little silly as well. I don't know. I think it's consistent with past decisions, but I think past decisions were done a little too willy-nilly. I can't remember who tweeted it. I want to say it was Aaron Bearden. I don't remember who I saw tweet it, but it was Seth Eggert from Kicking the Tires, I believe, who tweeted out a chart of every waiver in NASCAR history. And I think it was Aaron who made a comment that the only driver who's never ever been declined a waiver was Grant Enfinger, because he missed a race because he didn't have sponsorship. And so it was basically, the comment was, I guess you get a waiver for everything except being poor. And I thought, damn, that is accurate.
If you're below the poverty line, no waiver.
Even Matt Kenseth got a freaking waiver in 2020 for not having a ride for 4 weeks.
and it was, isn't it like the rule you need to declare to run the full schedule? It's like, he never declared. He's a sub.
Yeah.
So,
at that point, I guess he was technically, he was like, I'm declaring for the Cup, I guess.
I guess it would seem bad on NASCAR's part too. Yeah, we're not going to let the guy subbing in for the guy who just dropped the N-word during a pandemic.
I think they did it. I think it was mainly a favor to Ganassi. They're like, hey, we suspended your driver, so we'll let your new driver be playoff eligible. I think that's what it ultimately was.
That's a fair.
But at the same time, that was only Larson only did what, 4 races? I mean, at that point, he was basically doing the whole season.
It was. I mean, I get it, but it's to Jared's point. They give a waiver for almost everything. So yeah, like at this point, the precedent is what it is.
It ended up not matter. He wasn't going to make the playoffs, sadly. But
the lesson.
Thanks for reminding me that.
The lesson to learn in all of this is don't be poor.
Yeah, just have a sponsor and everything will work out.
Have hundreds of thousands of dollars behind you at all times.
Yeah,
just be rich.
Yeah, you're telling me Grant Enfinger couldn't find $50,000 something for that race?
What a change, man! I just find that on the street every day.
Yeah, my gosh.
I have one final question for everybody here. So, like with Hendrick Motorsports being so dominant early on, where do you see Chase Elliott falling with the team? Do you think it'll be business as usual when he comes back, or is there going to be like some time where it's like, he has to get readjusted and all that?
But I think if he's coming back in 6 weeks, by the Coke 600, I expect him to be completely normal. I expect kind of like Kyle Busch. You'll be a little rusty going in, but you'll race pretty much like normal, if not better, being more motivated.
Because looking back on history, it's like when certain drivers who have gotten hurt have come back, like you either have a Kyle Busch 2015 type season championship or Denny Hamlin 2013. Now, granted, that was a massive accident stuff, way different injury. But, I feel like, I don't know, like there's really no in between usually, so I don't know. Hopefully, hopefully he comes back and he's, it's normal Chase Elliott and competes for a championship. That would be funny though. That would be funny. And thank you, Mods.
Yeah, if Chase Elliott wins a title this year, both of his championships will be Mickey Mouse championships.
Oh, I just realized that. No.
I wonder
Eric, what have you done?
I wonder if people hating on Kyle Busch for that will keep the same energy for Chase Elliott doing that.
Oh, that's a good point.
No, we're gonna make sure they keep the same energy.
No, remember, Jarrett. Kyle Busch is now a fan favorite. He's never done anything wrong in the eyes of apparently the entire fan base.
He was with the Toyota back then, though.
Yeah, Toyota corrupted him for all these years. He's been healed.
Eric, you messed up, bro.
That's not me saying it. I'm just predicting what the Twitter.
I wasn't even thinking about that though.
Instagram trolls.
Now it's out there. Now it's out there in front of over
I just gave you a video
people.
idea.
One other
9 months from
question
now.
I have for you guys. One other question I got is, should teams restrict drivers from doing more extracurricular activities like this? Because it's both. I'll just put this out there. Set Hendrick back with their sponsors probably a little bit. The sponsors probably aren't happy about their driver not being there, and it's not good for the sport missing the most popular driver.
I was just thinking about that, and I was worried because as soon as I heard about the news, like obviously, like after thinking about like, damn, like hope Jace is okay, this and that. Like I was also thinking, I was like, ooh, this could have a very negative effect because this isn't just a driver; it's the most popular driver in the sport.
And just to clarify that, what Darian said, I think all 4 of us, our first thought was, dang, hope Chase is okay.
Yes.
Then about an hour later, that's when you start thinking, oh, what is this going to actually do?
Yeah, no, guys, it wasn't like 2 minutes after finding out. Like, no, it was like way. Yeah, like during the truck.
Because that's when all the questions are coming like, okay, should he get a waiver?
Yeah,
all that
exactly.
Stuff.
So I don't know, like I was thinking about that, but then the response from Hendrick Motorsports told me that, they're pretty PO'd, but at the same time, it's like, these drivers, they spend, a ton of time getting, prep for the weekend stuff. They have a long season and stuff. They obviously have to have some type of personal life. Otherwise, you will burn out. And really, I mean, that's really for anything you do work-wise in general. You don't want to, burn the oil and stuff, but I don't know, as far as like, owners restricting drivers to do certain things. I mean, we've seen that to some extent with Joe Gibbs and, like some of the dirt racing stuff we've seen to an extent. But I mean, since this is the most popular driver, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to fully restrict them, but maybe like for certain trips or certain things, like, I don't know, like maybe the drivers have to start letting them know, like, hey, like, is it cool if I do this and that all the time? So I'm not sure.
I don't think you'll see any widespread changes, but I'm also not surprised to hear the drivers say, no, let us do whatever we want. Like, of course, that's what they're going to say, and I don't blame them. So this is what I said on my show today. If I was Chase Elliott, I would not go snowboarding. I would also not be a pilot and fly my own planes around. But that's also because I don't take that many risks in my day-to-day life. And I think to be a great race car driver, you like that same itch, that same part of your brain that makes you a great race car driver also causes you to be more risk taking, more of a daredevil, more of a thrill seeker. And so I feel like you can't have Chase Elliott be the best driver he can be without also indulging his off track escapades. I mean, look at Larson. I know he's racing a sprint car. He's actually racing, but Kyle Larson runs every dirt race he wants, wins 10 cup races. Like, I think it made him a better Cup Series driver. So that's why, like, when Joe Gibbs, we found out, has apparently told Christopher Bell no more sprint car racing. Yeah, I kind of want Gibbs to change his mind, because I do get that sprint car racing is probably more dangerous than snowboarding, but I think it'll make Bell better. I think it's a worthwhile risk. So if you want Chase Elliott to be his very best, my point is, I think you have to let him scratch that itch. I just think that's why we always say race car drivers are a different breed. I think that's what we're talking about. So I would not go snowboarding, but that's also why I'm not a race car driver, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
So I kind of set up this, because we a little bit earlier when I asked, about how many people would watch a Kansas City Chiefs game if Patrick Mahomes wasn't in the game. And I think we can say Pat Mahomes is the face of the NFL, probably the face of professional sports right now.
Let's not talk about his little brother.
Don't even bring it up then. Chase Elliott is the face of NASCAR. And I bring those two up for the sense that there was a video that Pat Mahomes put on a couple years ago on his Instagram, just him chilling, playing basketball with some friends. He got called by the Kansas City Chiefs and told, you are not allowed to do any kind of sport outside of football that is like, would not help in football in any way. Like, don't do that. We don't want you injured. You only have a finite amount of time to be the best in the world at what you do. And I think the same can apply to Chase Elliott on this, and to anyone. Do I think should be different because they're race car drivers in a sense? Yes. I think, going over and doing another series, doing a late model series, doing, World of Outlaws, going over to IndyCar maybe as like a one-off here and there. I think that stuff can be a given on that. But look at Denny Hamlin, tore his ACL playing basketball. Chase Elliott broke a leg playing or being on a snowboard. I think that stuff is in a different bin than extra racing, because I think that they're just completely different things in that regard. I think it should stay up to the teams. If, as much as it sucks that Christopher Bell can't race, and I disagree with that, I think that Joe Gibbs' prerogative. He's the one who put the money and put the time and the effort and all that stuff to propping him up. Same with Rick Hendrick. But I do think it's something I think teams should look more into, because this will hurt the sport. Like, this will hurt everyone. And I know it sucks because Chase Elliott would have to be held to a different standard, but I think we've seen throughout racing history, whether it's Richard Petty, Bill Elliott, Dale Jr., or Chase Elliott now, most popular driver maybe unfairly has to be held up to a different standard because of their popularity and because of what they matter to the sport itself. And it sucks because they can't have their personal lives as much, but this is what they signed up for with their job, and they did get that popularity with this job. So I think there's more to it than just the driver's personal time being spent the way they want. They have an off season that is allotted time off of work to do this, that is not during the season, and it is prime snowboarding season too.
I get that side of the argument for sure. Like, I think the team owners would absolutely be justified if they started restricting what drivers can do. I mean, like you're kind of talking about, like LeBron James, I guarantee you, has a no snowboarding clause in his contract or something similar.
Yeah.
So, why can't we hold drivers to the same standards other athletes are held to? That's totally reasonable. I think that's totally a reasonable take, but I do agree with the drivers when they say the season is a grind. And I still believe that. I think drivers are going to be daredevils. I think indulging that actually makes them better on Sundays. There's an argument to be made there as well. And it's not a very scientific argument, but it's an argument that I think some drivers have proven in the past.
Truth is that really anything and everything could have a dangerous side to it. I mean, I'm not trying to say this in the same instance, but, think about Kyle Busch. What happened to him in his vacation thing, depending on how that would have went down, that could have delayed his status of the season even. If that had went any other direction with the Mexican government down there.
Don't bring a firearm to another country. That might, but what I'm saying is it's an avoidable risk. Like it is a
Yeah.
prime avoidable risk. Like
I get where Jared's coming from because also too, it's like, dude, you are, one of the sport's, main cash cows. Actually, you're the main cash cow, to a certain
Oh,
extent.
I would love to see a breakdown from Lionel Racing and Fanatics of the merchandise numbers. I would love to see those numbers.
Seriously, like this is sort of similar vibes when Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to leave for a while during the 2016 season. Like the sport needs, we need that most popular guy.
The race didn't feel the same without Chase Elliott there.
I'm sorry. It's just, I mean, it would be different if he wasn't, a true championship contender, but that's a giant, piece missing. You know what I mean? Like we need him. We need Chase Elliott to race in NASCAR. We need him to compete for championships, So yeah, it just didn't feel the same at all to me.
Oh, I see people talking about there's risk and everything. I get that, but I think there's a risk between riding your bike or walking down the stairs. Between that and snowboarding or bringing a gun to another country. Look, I think there's a different risk involved in both.
Okay. Talk about the other risks. Something that seems so simple. I love to go fishing. I'm going to go on fishing this weekend. Recently here on this lake that, the three of us live nearby, there was an accident where a guy didn't even expect this to happen. He was going down the lake, hit a log, the motor of his boat flung inside the boat and sadly hurt him pretty bad. That's something you never see coming. Something as simple as just going for a ride in your bass boat. And a lot of NASCAR drivers actually have those, by the way. Anything could be dangerous.
Yeah. I like this Need for Speed 53. Why not ride a bike down the stairs?
Hey, this is a good debate, though. This is a good debate. I'm liking this. A lot of good points. Great points. So.
My point, I think, I don't want my point to say that Chase Elliott shouldn't be allowed to do that. My point is there should be more than just a black and white conversation on this. Because like when I think it was like I saw Mike Davis. His whole argument was drivers' free time, and it's like, well, drivers also signed up to be race car drivers with $1 million sponsorships and tons of fans around the country. Like I feel like when you make yourself a public figure, the whole private life during the season part kind of takes a back seat to your responsibilities as a driver. I mean, I think after wanting him to be all right, I think all four of our first responses were, why was he snowboarding the day before he had to practice for a race?
I'm not gonna lie, I did ask that.
Like that was so
near the exact same question.
Yeah, I want to make it clear. I'm not advocating for Chase Elliott to be put into a bubble like NBA.
Put him in a box. Put him in a box.
Is that another Mickey Mouse reference?
Come here, bubble boy.
Oh God, no! Dude, I didn't mean it to be. Dude, I don't know that much about NBA.
Oh my God!
But walking. But that's not my point. Is I don't want Chase Elliott's life to be completely restricted. I'm just saying that I wouldn't be saying the teams are out of line for making restrictions on what is essentially millions and millions of dollars of asset. I mean,
I know that. I think it's fair.
Does this? I don't see why I don't see if NASCAR wants to be treated like every other sport. Why does NASCAR then? Well, we can't do it with this, and this. That is completely this. It could be completely used the same way as any other sport does.
So, gentlemen, when's the podcast ski trip? When are we going?
Oh,
obviously in the off season.
Friday before we go to a race.
Let's go.
Friday night before the Daytona 500. Let's do it. 2024.
Let's go to Aspen, Colorado, 2024, live from Aspen, Colorado, the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
How about this? We'll do it the night before a podcast, right before we have to fly to Daytona.
Let's just do a podcast from the slopes.
Well, I was about to say, we do that. Avalanche, go! Avalanche.
We'll get one of those cameras that faces us the whole time, so you'll just see all four of our perspectives as we talk with headphones on.
Darian, instead of peeking the mic, would start an avalanche.
Don't make me say that. We're gonna.
Funny, can I give you a tangent real quick? This is because we're an hour and a half in, so this show is just gonna be 4 hours long. We've already committed to that. But when I took a calculus class in high school, and I had a teacher who he would always tell us during the year, like, "Hey, do you guys want to take a break?" And if we ever said yes, he would give us a quiz, like it was some sort of prank, So we always knew when he asked, like, "Do you want a break?" We're always like, "No, we don't want a break. No." And one day he asked, "Do you guys want a break?" We're all like, "No." And he's like, "No, for real. Like, let's do a break." And so we're like, "Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. Okay." And so he puts on a video of him at his ski trip he just came back from. It was like right after spring break or something. He's showing us this like POV GoPro video of him like falling down skiing. And it was really funny. It was really great. And we're watching this video. Everyone's like, "Yeah, this is the best break ever." in the video, he gets to the bottom of the slope. He turns the GoPro around to his face and says, "All right, y'all, take your pencils out. It's time for a quiz."
Oh,
And I look down and he's already handing the quizzes out. Like I didn't.
Oh no, that's good.
that
Not
is
even
funny.
No, that's good.
It was a memorable high school teacher student moment that I just skiing reminded me of it. I wanted to share.
Hey, we need more high school teachers like that in this country, man. He sounds, oh, that's cool, bro.
Yeah, made me want to go skiing though. Better than calculus.
Like, just think that's his first thought. I just crashed skiing. Let's give a quiz.
Hey, but imagine though, imagine this scenario. He's like in he's like driving like a stock car or something, crashes, turns to the camera. We got a quiz.
He gets interviewed on NBC and then looks right at the camera. By the way,
We got a quiz. The first question is, why are you still teaching, bro?
It's like the teacher said, "Hey, back in the '80s, I was actually a NASCAR driver for a minute." He pulls up an old clip and it being interviewed by like Benny Parsons. Yeah, Benny, let's give a quiz now.
That would be good.
That's a funny story though. I like those little off the topic tangents. Yeah, that's funny.
We want to touch on the Xfinity and truck race real quick.
I'll be honest. This whole weekend for me was kind of a snoozer with it.
It was a blur, bro. I mean,
the closing laps of the Xfinity.
There's more to
race
talk
were
about the
exciting.
Xfinity one because that was honestly very exciting watching Austin Hill chase him down.
Hey, Chandler Smith though. Hey man,
Choke job.
Chandler, bro.
Ooh.
Look, I've done a video on you back in 2018. I know of your potential. I know your game. You know, from the words of Shaq. You know, I know your game. I'm aware of your game. But what was that though? You had that race won, and you just you let it go, bro. Like, congratulations to Austin Hill though. 2 of the first 3 races.
That was a heck of a drive by him. I got to say that.
Austin Hill had the drive of his life, and honestly, I mean, we're going to Atlanta. It could be 3 or 4. You know,
I'll spoil it. I'm picking Austin Hill for Atlanta. That's my pick.
Are you picking him this weekend at Phoenix?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Back to you.
It was really odd though seeing the end of that race, like how fast he fell off. Like the first real kind of moment for me was when he had trouble getting around Tyler Reddick. I was like, why are you having that much trouble getting around a lap car this late in the race? Like your car is so much better. And then you see the interval going down and down and down. You're like, oh my God, this is gonna happen. It's not even a lap to go and you're already second. How did you do this? Like that was sort of my Spark Notes version of my reaction to it.
Oh, hey, really quick, guys. Sorry, I accidentally said Atlanta was this weekend. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, little slip up. But
we didn't catch it either.
Yeah, but so I just exposed myself. Wow, man. All right. Anyways, no. So Austin Hill, though, true championship contender. I could see him winning 3 of the first 5 races this season. And that's crazy. I mean, RCR is back, bro. RCR is back as a whole. Like,
yeah, with Kyle Busch.
Well, in the Xfinity Series, they really haven't been gone. They really haven't.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, as a whole, though, it's great to see them, you know, like compete for championships in every series.
When was that? That Reddick championship was 19, right? So it's been, if it basically hasn't been, I guess last year was Gibbs, but it was basically Junior Motorsports for a long time. That 9 cars won like
there was
championships.
I think 2020 they had.
I forgot all about Hendrick. I forgot Gibbs has won the last 2. I forgot about Hendrick's in 2021. Wait, was he in a Gibbs car? Wait, yeah, he was in a Gibbs car. Yeah. I panicked for a second. I thought he was in a Collie car. No, that was the Gibbs year. Yeah, well, either way, RCR. I mean, 2 cars, and at least Austin Hill looks dominant. Like, geez.
Hey, Chandler Smith though. Hey, dude. Hey, don't ever do that again. That was crazy.
I don't think you meant to.
That was crazy though.
Don't you ever?
It wasn't like an obvious mistake, you know. It was just he just didn't save his stuff. I don't know.
Look, I'll put it like this too. Like I was multitasking. You know, I was working on one of my YouTube shorts, which by the way, you can check them out on Black Flags Matter. Shameless plug. Anyways, I was working on one of those.
We've already plugged one of your videos today.
Yes, yeah. I'm shameless. I'm sorry.
We're gonna look at the comments for that one too.
But no. So it was around like 8 laps to go. I'm like, oh, okay, Chandler Smith's got this in the bag. I look up, it's the final lap. Austin Hill. I'm like, wait, what the hell just happened? So I was caught off guard. Then I saw the replay. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, hey, you know, Austin Hill, I mean, he's a veteran though. You know, Chandler Smith still has a a long way to go, but it just sucked, man. Like he was so far gone, and I thought, he was gonna win that race.
Well, I will say the other thing of the two lower races that were memorable for me, other than my pick winning the truck race and pretty much all of ours, but one pick winning the truck race.
Hey, chill.
Hey, if we gotta plug your videos, we're gonna plug your fails too.
Stop, chill out.
Well, and there goes part of my headphones. But for me, the other memorable part of it was the fact that like 3 or 4 pit crews didn't make it until like
I saw our boy Tig running in.
Yeah,
I've never seen something like that before.
His crew was so happy to see him. They just gave him a big old hug, like, "Oh, thank God."
Really quick, since we're going off on tangents tonight, the side here, like that, the side there, it's a little magnetic thing. At first, like with the insignia, the magnet fell off. Like,
where'd you get these things from? Wish.com?
Oh, they're pretty damn good so far. Other than this,
just the one malfunction.
Yeah. So
can I make one more point on the Xfinity race?
Yes.
I will give Chandler Smith this credit. He outran Kyle Busch all day.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It was the best. It was the best Colin car.
I'll give him credit for that.
Okay, you know what? I'll kind of take my criticism back.
I know you're so
hard. You did finish ahead of Kyle Busch though, but I was like, dude, that win was yours though, man.
Yeah, no, it was. It was the best chance he's had so far.
If his mom was there, I know she would say, Chandler, you blew it.
Damn it, Chandler. What'd you do that for? But no. But yeah, and then we had a truck race too, but
it was just Kyle Busch.
No. Kyle Busch won a truck race and everyone else was there.
Yeah. And I'm an idiot for picking John Hunter because he freaking crashed out. And my power was out, so I didn't even get to see the first half.
Side note, we haven't had a chance to talk about this. Man, we were hit by the biggest windstorm I've ever seen here.
Yeah.
It literally sounded like a freight train was going through here. And that's not an exaggeration. They always say if a tornado sounds like that. It was like that for about 2 hours straight. No matter where you were in the Nashville area, I don't know what the number of trees and power lines were that was down, but it was a lot.
Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, no, the truck race happened. So that'll do it for the Vegas weekend. It was a race weekend, I guess you could say that.
I think the chat and everybody, I think we might need a break from it and all. Danny, I think you can lead us into that.
Yeah, go do your thing, bro.
Yeah, let's talk some super chats here. We're going to start off here. If anyone wants to time me here, Spencer Purcell, thank you for being a member for 20 months and Danny B super fans. Make sure to spring forward Sunday if you can. Yeah, sadly, we got to lose an hour of sleep. But
that's not sad. The race is an hour closer this week.
True.
Yeah,
that's a positive. Okay. Yeah.
1 hour closer to the next podcast episode.
Isaac, appreciate the $1.99. What Mario track would you want to see in NASCAR? Rainbow Road.
I said last week, Coconut Mall.
Rainbow Road.
Hunter Nixon Fishing, appreciate the $4.99. Hope you're doing well, man. Although I like Blaney, I agree with Kyle Petty. Blaney hasn't lived up to the hype.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
we will eventually.
We'll talk about that. Alex Love, appreciate the $10. One hypothetical that's, as a Tony Stewart fan, always nagged at me is, what if Tony Stewart made the chase in 2006? Let's say he barely gets in and uses his finishes in the chase that year. Could he win?
What was his 2006?
Jarrett, you've done all those hypothetical videos. What do you think about that?
He wouldn't have won.
Okay.
I know Kenseth and Jimmy were tough to beat.
That's the one. That's the one I know who's done. That's the one I know who's done the most research on that. So no,
he was so quick.
Shoot, he did win 3 races in the playoffs that year, though.
Yeah.
Napa Racing Fan 927 appreciated $2. Was old layout of Phoenix better than now with the dog leg? I don't know.
I like them fanning way out.
At this point, I don't remember much about the old grass version of it, but
I do. But I mean, I like this version though. I like it.
I'm laughing. I'm on Racing Records. I'm laughing at Tony Stewart. He's like 8th in points. He ends up 11th, and then he's like winning races, but his points position is just stuck at 11th.
M Martin fan for life, appreciate the $4.99. Shout out to Corey LaJoy for starting the season with 3 top 20 finishes and -1 on the playoffs so far. Yeah, we talked about that for a minute.
Yeah, he's right on the bubble.
Firepile 129, appreciate the $2. If Barry wins and does great, does he stay in the 9 card? No, absolutely not. He's committed for the Xfinity Series, my friend. And Martin fan for
Darian's
life.
just done.
Appreciate the $1.99 there again. Hot take: RFK outperforms SHR this season. As a whole, depends on how good Harvick and maybe Briscoe are. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Briscoe needs to have a race where he doesn't unload with a 30th place car.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's nothing. Appreciate the $5. Weekly question: if you could have a piece of sheet metal from any car in NASCAR history to your collection, what would it be? Oh,
Dale
God.
Earnhardt 1998 500 car. If they were like giving it away, or if I could get like something on inside of it, like maybe probably like one of the bars inside, anything. I'd take it.
I would love to have Wendell Scott's piece of his car from his only win,
like a door or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
That would be
something
pretty
crazy.
cool.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't go for like the most valuable, although this would be valuable, obviously, but I'd go with like the front nose of Kenseth's Daytona 500, 2012 Daytona 500 car.
I'd want something from Dale Sr., but I think I'd want something a little more specific. I'd want something from one of his Wrangler cars, because that's something I feel like you don't see as much. You see
That
more
would
of the
be
good.
cool.
You see more of the Goodrich, and not really as much the yellow and blue.
3 minutes.
But from which team though?
We'll end on that one. I'd go with the RCR.
Okay.
Well, we got another piece of this little break we can go into, right, Darian?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And there's the Avalanche.
Yeah, you broke it.
It's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
It's the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what do we have on tap for tonight?
I struck you again. We got a couple things, including an announcement at the end of the of it that I got for y'all. Fun one, but a couple things here. So starting off, Todd Gilliland will run the number 36 Cup car for front row.
Too soon.
Front row still exists.
Too soon.
Oh, no.
The South Boston Speedway is now being put up for sale. Hopefully it's not a booming real estate market.
Oh.
Now, we talked about one of the Chicago mayor candidates last week and their thoughts of the Chicago street race. Now we have the talk from the other candidate. Brandon Johnson has said they're going to be looking into the NASCAR contract and making more decisions about the race with the rest of the city.
I still don't know. I don't know if I like that wording, because that just makes me think he's saying we're gonna look at it and just look. This is too much. Why are we doing this?
That's a reading between the lines.
Yeah. He did the more politically correct way of doing it. Surprisingly enough. Martinsville Speedway is going to be taking out a piece of the Hail Melon wall to preserve it, and the one they had driving the forklift to take it out, Ross Chastain.
That's cool, though.
Now,
That's cool.
I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but
Hall of Fame. That's
Hall
what
of
they're
Fame.
planning to do.
Please, Hall of Fame. Please, Hall of Fame.
At least for the time being.
Is the car in the Hall of Fame right now, or where's
Yes,
the car?
I think so. I think they might reunite them in the hall. It'd be funny if they just like press it into the wall as a display.
Just hot glue it.
and then just get like a smoke machine, so every now and then just kind of smoke coming out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be down. Kimi Räikkönen will be back in the 91 for Project 91 in Trackhouse at Coda.
The Iceman cometh.
That's gonna be a good race.
Give Kimi Räikkönen versus Taylor last lap, baby. Please.
All right.
Bring back the road course.
With Allmendinger looking on.
But
and Alex Bowman too, Danny. I'm sorry, I forgot about him.
All right.
I'll just be right. I don't really think those two are gonna win it, but that's just me.
And
All right,
then-
Jarrett, what do we got?
All right, so we had talked about this amongst the four of us the last couple weeks, and we finally came up with a way to do this to involve you guys at home. So it's NASCAR's 75th anniversary season, and in the 50th anniversary season, they had the 50 greatest drivers. And now, we've talked about doing 75 greatest drivers, or that people should. We want to do our own. So what we're going to do is the four of us are all going to make up our own top 75 NASCAR drivers of all time list, aggregate them all together, and have our definitive podcast list. But we want to add a at-home viewership kind of, the audience version of this. So if you look down in the description of this podcast, as well as if you're watching back afterwards in what will be the top comment, you can go to weeklypodcastguest@gmail.com and submit your top 75 list in a full email. We will average all of the people who give their list, as long as it's serious. Like, I'm put Cody Ware above, Dale Earnhardt. We're going to know it's a joke list. So put your top 75 list in that email. by April 19th, and we will average all of those together, and then with ours, and starting May 17th all the way till the last podcast before the playoffs, which would be August 23rd, we each week will be giving each 5 drivers in a particular group, starting with 71 through 75, all the way down to our top 5 throughout the summer. Something to kind of have fun with, follow along with, and we want you guys to all be a part of it as well. So weeklypodcastguest@gmail.com. You can leave your top 75 in an email. We will see it, average them all together, and average them with us. And have that a month or so from now, a little over a month from now, a month and a half from now, on April 19th is the deadline. And we can't wait to see what you guys got.
I love it. I cannot wait. Denny Delivers is already saying number 1, Denny Hamlin. Need for Speed, number 1, Ty Dillon.
Norm Benning.
I can't wait. Like, it's going to be a fun, like, our lists are going to be pretty reasonable, and then we're going to compare them to the chats, and it's going to be hilarious.
We're going to have like an aggregating process amongst the rest of us.
And then meanwhile, Darian's going to make the 75 busts of all time.
Wait, is there that many busts?
That's a lot of homework.
I don't know. Darian and I did a top 10, and it was scraping the last bit of that at the bottom.
Hey, there's my number 1 pick right there. My number 1
Tia Norfleet.
Yes, sir.
Tia Norfleet.
Yes, sir. Tia Norfleet.
No, that would be your number 1 bust of all time.
But yeah, so we got that.
We got Todd Blue.
Anyways, that'll do it for this edition of the Lightning Round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
If you did a 75 greatest busts in NASCAR history and you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, you probably would get to Casey Kane.
Hey, look, man. Listen, man.
Ooh.
Look, I know
that was my version of a segue.
Yeah, look, I know I like doing my bust videos, but that would be like I would be considered a giant hater for doing a 75.
To be clear, I don't want to sound like a giant hater. I'm not saying Casey Kane was a bust, but according to Kyle Petty, he was an unfulfilled potential, just like Ryan Blaney is currently. Did y'all see this quote? I assume everyone saw this quote. It made the rounds. Everyone was talking about it.
I didn't see it. What did it say? No, everybody.
I mean, he said, I don't have the exact quote pulled up, but he said Ryan Blaney, he's potential unfulfilled. Everybody talks about what he can do, but he never does anything. That was a rough paraphrasation.
I can pull up the actual quote. Just give me a second.
But I don't know. Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you think he's fair to compare? He also compared him directly to Casey Kane. He said Blaney is the new Casey Kane. Casey Kane won 18 races in his career. Blaney's at 7. Yeah, and 6 of which came in 2006.
I just want to say this too. No matter what side you're on here, I don't agree with being like Brett Griffin of Couch Racer and suddenly bringing up Kyle Petty stats, because what the F does Kyle Petty have to do with this, in my opinion? He just simply said this.
Well, I already see, I saw it in my comments, and I see a few here. Kyle Petty, he's not saying he's better than Ryan Blaney. To bring up that Petty didn't win as many races, he's also an unfulfilled potential. If anything, that makes him more of an expert on the subject.
I was just about to say, I mean, look, Kyle Petty was the first third-generation driver in the sport when he came in back in 1979. So he knows a thing or two about, fulfilling a legacy, meeting up to expectations and stuff. And also, just really quick, Kyle Petty was not a bum driver in the late 80s and early 90s. He was actually very solid.
His time with Sabco, he was a real threat.
Yeah, People forget that he was part of the 1992 championship battle.
Yeah.
He was one of the 6.
He was right in the mix. And also, too, he took time away from, his performances and stuff to help his late son. So that was he made that very public, too. And also, too, just the fact that he continues to race after his passing deserves your respect alone. But to the Ryan Blaney comparison, first of all, the reaction from Blaney fans is very crazy to me, because Casey Kane is by no means a bum at all. 18 wins. I remember, 2006. I mean, in 2006, he had 6 wins just like that. When it felt like, man, it's taking Casey Kane forever to win a single Cup Series race. I remember his rookie season. That was the first season I watched NASCAR. A full season, and man, that was frustrating. But look, Kyle Petty to me like he was speaking facts. Like he was speaking facts. Now, the way he worded it, though, saying he does nothing, I think that's the main reason why some people were pretty PO'd. But I think what he meant was, yeah, I think what he meant by when he said does nothing, like he doesn't win monumental races, and then some of these other racetracks he has won at. As a matter of fact, let's pull up his 7 career wins, and I will go over every single track he has won at.
We're gonna nitpick this, aren't we? Oh boy.
No,
hey, to be fair, his first win was impressive as hell.
No.
Yeah, he had to hold off Kyle Busch.
Yeah,
his second one was a Mickey.
No, actually, he had to hold off Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick in the closing laps.
Who I would argue were the best 2 drivers of that decade.
Yes,
and
exactly.
And that was the year before the big 3, but they were still really good.
They were still good, yeah. So 2017 Pocono, 2018 you have the Charlotte Roval. Now we know how that ended.
That one was a fluke.
Yeah,
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
But then his next 2 wins in the next 2 seasons combined, from 2019 to 2020, Talladega. So, I mean, that's you're going a pretty long way without winning a race for a while. And then,
that one, I think was, it was a Monday race, and there were some cars that got out of it and a crash or something like that.
Yes. And the next one, Atlanta, that's 2021. Excuse me. His final 3 wins to date, all coming during the 2021 season. Atlanta, and this was Atlanta before they turned it into a super speedway. Michigan, and then Daytona in July. Or no, in August. Excuse me.
I was there for one of them. Jared, I think, was there for 2 of them.
So we were there for Blaney's last win to date.
I was there last year for his All-Star win. So I will say that he's won the All-Star race. That's a big race. Pays
he
a
won
lot
it twice in one night.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. Can't forget about the All-Star race. That's right. Yeah. But then also too, I'm sorry, I'm almost done with the stats, I promise. But then top 5s, 61 top 5s, 114 top 10s, 9 poles, and a career average finish of 15.5.
Yeah, no, Rosh Crash Dane's super chat is extremely accurate. He says, another similarity between Kane and Blaney, the Cougars love them both.
Oh, that's a fact.
That's pretty true.
That's a very accurate.
Does Blaney have Allstate?
I was gonna say, can we get Allstate on board to redo a commercial?
Yeah, and also too, Blaney also had 9 poles. So when you look at those stats, you're like, okay, well, I mean, it's not bad or whatever. The problem is though, where you look at where he's finished in points and stuff, and I'm not talking about playoff points here. I'm talking about just pure consistent standings. In only 1 season, he finished inside the top 5. So, I hear all this talk about, oh, Blaney's the next man up for a championship. And I'm sitting here going like, where do you see this at? I mean, he's a very good driver. Yeah, like
I remember in 2020, I got so much flack on this show, my channel, Backseat Drivers. So many people in the comments thought I was crazy when I said that he would get eliminated in the first round of playoffs, and he did.
Yeah,
I was probably one of those people.
He's been to the round of 8 3 times, I believe. He's been really close to the championship 4, but he hasn't been to the championship 4. His teammate Joey Logano, meanwhile, has won 2 championships as long as Blaney's been over at Team Penske. So no, I think it's fair to say hasn't quite lived up to peak expectations, but I think that's also a compliment. I think go back to that win at Pocono in 2017, or go back to, I guess, 2018 when he joins Penske, the flagship Penske team. I think everyone looks at a young Ryan Blaney there. You saw what he had done at Pocono. You'd seen what he'd done in Xfinity, his whole career up to that point. I think everyone would have said Blaney's probably a future championship winner at some point. I think I would have safely said that at the time. And I think even now there's a very good chance that happens. But I also think Kasey Kahne, if you go back to 2006, when he won those 6 races, I think everyone in the garage would have said Kasey Kahne is a championship contender. Kahne never won a title. And the rate Blaney's going, he hasn't been to a championship before. So there's still a lot of time. That's why I don't want to make any definitive comparisons. But so far, I do think the comparison to Kahne is accurate. Kahne was really good, never quite reached his peak potential. Blaney, so far, has been really good, really consistent, but hasn't quite reached his peak potential.
I got to say, I disagree with this one commenter in the chat. Flint005 says, Ryan is barely any better than his dad Dave was. I have to disagree on that.
Whoa, and also too, Dave. He's a very renowned dirt racer too.
Dave was a big dirt guy, and if you haven't looked enough into his dirt background, I recommend that you do, because truth be told, he came into NASCAR very late in his career. Who knows what it would have been like if he would have came in sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know what's Ryan's dirt stats.
He don't really.
He was more always into asphalt late models, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So who won the Battle of the Blaney's in the SRX last year? I forgot.
Didn't they both wreck?
Did they?
I think Ryan had a better finish.
No, I think Ryan Blaney.
I'd like to kind of reel this back in and compare. Break down the. We're gonna. I want to break down a bit of the comparison between Kane and Blaney, and I think that's part of also why people are getting upset, because I think we can say that Ryan Blaney consistently feels like more of a contender than Kasey Kahne did early in his career. If you look at Kane's career early on, 04 he was always coming up close. 05 wasn't very good. 06 won all those races. 07 wasn't very good. Mid-pack the rest of his time in the 9 and the 4. And then with Hendrick, it was like started out well and then just sort of slowly went down. Whereas with Ryan Blaney, every year it still always feels like it's right at the edge. And so I was looking at, we looked at Ryan Blaney's first 7 wins. I mean, you look at Kasey Kahne's first 7, only one of his first 7 wins is not at a 1.5 or 2 mile intermediate, because in 2006, those 6 wins, Evernham just had that figured out. Like they nailed it. I mean, dude, Scott Riggs was almost going to win 2 of those races that year. And no disrespect to Scott Riggs, but he is no Ryan Blaney. Like, he is no Kasey Kahne.
Scott Riggs fans in shambles.
So I think that's also where part of it is, on top of being the messenger and how it was delivered, is Kasey Kahne, other than maybe 1 or 2 years, never really felt like he could be an elite driver. He always had elite moments, but never felt like he could be an elite driver. As Ryan Blaney, time after time, I mean, he has put himself in position. It's kind of like my argument with William Byron here. He's at that next step. Like, William Byron's next step is Ryan Blaney, in my opinion, in the sense that Blaney is consistent. He is consistently fast. He is somebody who you can have an outside perspective of being a championship contender every year. But with Blaney, he's not consistently, in my opinion, clutch when it comes to winning races, getting himself in position for championships.
He's a safe, reliable driver, but is he gonna be up there in my championship favorites? Probably not.
Well, it's too early to say that, but
as of now, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Also, I just have to laugh here because Eric put in his big no into the chat and everyone starts saying it, but right just at the very beginning of it, someone said, anyone remember Dave Blaney almost win a Daytona 500 in 2012? And everyone's just like, no. I was like, no one remembers.
Yeah, I mean, like, Ryan Blaney to me, it is like that. It's like, okay, it'd be like you go to a restaurant and there's all these really weird things, and then there's chicken noodle soup. Everyone likes chicken noodle soup. It's something safe. You don't normally pick it. You don't think chicken noodle soup is the greatest thing in the world, but every now and then you get that really good bowl of good soup at a restaurant, and you don't want to go kind of outside the box. That's Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney is Campbell's chicken noodle soup as a driver.
And you know what? Look,
it's good. I like chicken noodle soup.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being good. There's nothing wrong with being just good.
And hey, with chicken noodle soup, you just put a little bit of crackers in there. It can be good. It's the same like Ryan Blaney. If you just put a little bit more in there, it could be really good.
It could be that championship-winning bowl of soup. Like,
hey, I love me a good bowl of Ryan Blaney when I'm feeling a little under the weather.
With a nice Brad or Dale Jr. on the side of it.
But let's be real. This is no tomato soup with shreds of cheese and crackers in it. This is no Kyle Larson, if you will.
No.
Let me ask you guys.
Anyone want soup?
After the show. Let me ask you guys this question too. So Ryan Blaney, he almost won both the 2020 and the 2022 Daytona 500. If he wins at least one of those two, does the narrative on him change a little bit more, or does it stay about the same?
I mean, it's difficult to think about it just because of how different the race has become at this point, I think. But I mean, I'll ask this: Does it change how you look at Jamie McMurray? Because I'm not saying they're in the same range necessarily.
I mean, he's still a good driver, but
yeah, I mean, I would say that if you have 3 drivers, Blaney, Kane, and McMurray, you can put them sort of in a same wide bin. The way you look at McMurray, has it changed? Now, Blaney's better than him. Casey Kane was better. I'm just as an example.
And actually, too, as a matter of fact, I believe right now Blaney is tied with McMurray in career wins. I think 7, right? Yeah, 7. Yeah.
So that's kind of my take on it.
Okay.
But I will say this: seems like McMurray's wins were always bigger ones for some reason.
Hey, this is a random comment. Michael says in the chat, Ryan Blaney's girlfriend is a baddie, though. So I guess he is winning. He doesn't care.
Miss
Ryan
Hooters.
Blaney doesn't care. Ryan Blaney does not care in the grand scheme of things. He's like, oh, Kyle Petty said something. Oh, well. Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, if he just ends up being a good driver, nothing wrong with that. But if he turns into a championship contender, then hey, we'll sing his praises, of course.
We need to create a Twitter account that's just different NASCAR drivers as different soups.
NASCAR soup.
Yes.
NASCAR soup.
We're all gonna get followed by a NASCAR soup Twitter account tonight.
Yeah,
that would make me stay on that website longer.
Oh my god! Somebody's gonna do it.
One of your all's spam burners. Can you be NASCAR soup for a minute?
Yeah, can we have NASCAR soup in the chat?
Oh man, but yeah, that's about it for me. I mean,
2 hours. Do we want to talk Phoenix?
I think we probably
No,
should.
I'd rather talk more soup. This is a soup weekly podcast now.
This show has been so freaking fun, though. It hasn't even felt like 2 hours. But...
No, not at all. I'm putting in the chat a formal request for NASCAR soup.
All right, so this weekend at Phoenix, we've got the Soup 500. I mean, the United Rentals Work United 500. That's a lot of United right there. 312 laps. The race starts at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox and radio coverage on MRN. Weather for Sunday is 83 degrees, mostly sunny, 4% chance of rain. The defending winner of this race is Chase Briscoe. The Xfinity race is the United Rentals 200. This is 200 laps. It starts at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1 with radio coverage on MRN. Weather this Saturday is 79 degrees, partly sunny, a 4% chance of rain. The defending winner of this race is Noah Gragson, so we will see a different winner for sure this weekend. And Darian, get us into the betting odds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The famous betting odds on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Let's get into the favorites. Kyle Busch is plus 600, followed by Kyle Larson plus 800. And you know what? I might as well just have fun with this. I accidentally put Chase Elliott in by accident. Sorry, I know he was plus 800. I know what could have been, but unfortunately he's not racing. So in his place, William Byron at plus 1,000, Ryan Blaney at plus 1,000, and Denny Hamlin plus 1,100.
So I want to ask you this. Was that more you messed up, or was he actually still on betting odds when you looked it up?
He was still on betting odds. Yeah, he was still on betting odds. Yeah, I thought I had
so they had they had the odds that high for him to say, "I've made a miracle. I'm back. I win."
They were like, "Hey, he's gonna have a fast recovery, right?" But no, unfortunately, no.
By the way, NASCAR soup is in the chat.
We have NASCAR.
I was fast. Anyways, as for the best of the rest, Joey Logano also plus 1,100. Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, and Martin Truex Jr. All three of them at plus 1,200. Kevin Harvick, this is very interesting. He is only plus 1,600. He's had a solid start to the season. Just saying. As for the underdogs and to Eric's earlier point, if he doesn't get a 30th place car, Chase Briscoe at plus 4,000 is a very, good option to bet on as far as the underdogs, considering the fact that he won this race last year.
And I think he was top 5 in November, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he was competitive. So we'll see if they unload a tractor or not. We'll find out. Bubba Wallace at plus 4,500. He has a lot of momentum, and so does Brad Keselowski at plus 500. A few people had, 5,000, excuse me. But a lot of people had written him off, but he's doing well. And then Austin Cindric plus 5,000, and finally Eric Jones at plus 35, plus 9,500. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry, getting a little carried away there. But yeah, that'll do it for the betting odds. Now for the NWP Fantasy League standings. We have a very close battle. Appreciate all of you lovely people playing. And I don't know what the heck. Oh my gosh, NASCAR's putting a freaking ad thing on here. Dude, let me click on the standings. This oh my gosh. Anyways, S the
It's
baby.
all ads.
There's this random ad just popped up. It's weird. As for the NWP Fantasy League standings, S the baby is in P1, followed by Toyota Tough, Bubba's Sports Talk, followed by Trevor Sports 98, the defending champion, and finally Claudia, aka Danny B Wife, is sitting inside the top 5. I just need to
Go, Claudia.
I need to start copying her picks because I'm not in championship contention. And as for the NWP Fantasy League 2, Natty City Racing is P1, and then well, this is a very interesting name. Oh no, ... we suck again. Oh no, we suck again. Oh, here's the kicker. Blaney's Pit Crew. That's what it says at the end. That's what
I was gonna say. It sounds like a Titans fan.
Yeah, and then in P3, unofficial Illinois representative Josh Wise. If that's a real Josh Wise, that'd be funny. 4 is Girly Man 05. And then tied for P5 is YRB 89, followed by Race Roar 48.
We might have to do pre-show vetting on this pretty soon.
Oh man,
it's Girly Man 05.
Yep. Hey, I love these names, man. I love it. Anyways, thank y'all for playing, man. Continue to play. Awesome. Anyways, let's get to our fantasy standings.
Yeah, speaking of points and stuff, Eric, nice job on your season so far with 69 points.
Nice.
The chat is -7. That means they need to gain 7 points to also have 69 points.
Nice.
Jarrett needs 16 points to get the 69 points.
Nice.
I need 18 points to get the 69 points.
Nice.
And Darian needs 26 points to get the 69 points.
Last place, nice.
No, it's not nice. Don't be doing Joe. Bro, I suck. Bro, I'm P3. What are you doing? Nice. Nice. I'm an idiot, bro. I should have picked Kyle Busch, bro. I'm dumb, man. What can I say, man?
And here's the pick point system, by the way, to get Eric's evil mugging up the screen so you can keep track at home in case maybe he didn't have nice points. Maybe he had one nice +1. All right, what do we got next? Come on, we gotta get this moving.
Yeah, let's pick the Xfinity race, and we'll start off with Mr. Nice himself, Eric.
Justin Allgaier.
Oh.
He's going to win. He loves Phoenix. He's always good here. I feel like there's less on the line. He's not racing for a championship this time around, so I think he'll just settle in. He'll get the dub.
You're like, he's going to win because he doesn't have to be clutch.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying he's not. I mean, I just think the spring race favors him. Allgaier. He was charging hard. What, didn't he finish third this last week?
Yeah,
he was up there.
So.
Yeah,
he was up there.
He's got some momentum.
He was good.
Or was he second? He was in the top 3.
Oh yeah, I think he passed Chandler, so I think he got second.
I give you crap for this, but I'm actually going to be picking Justin Allgaier this week as well. He has 4 top 10s in the last 4 races, led in 3 of them. Consistently one of the fastest out there, whether he's facing Josh Berry or facing Brandon Jones or Kyle Busch. It doesn't matter.
Kyle Busch this week.
He's very fast, so I'm going with the 7.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Do not let me down, Kyle Busch. It's the Xfinity Series.
I'm crying out loud.
All right, don't worry, Kyle. I'm done playing now. All right, I'm gonna go with you from now on, Kyle Busch.
All right, Eric, we made the right decision. We picked the opposite of Darian.
I'm just saying, Kyle Busch got outrun by a 19-year-old last week. Or how old is Chandler Smith?
Hey man, he was a little rusty coming off of retirement. So
he was probably out late after winning the truck race. Yeah. That's fair.
The chat seems to clearly be going with Justin Allgaier as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I see a 00. Hey, Cole Custer was irrelevant, bro. He was outside the top 10. I was shocked by that.
He's gonna have to. I was pretty high on him at Auto Club. He's gonna have to show me something for a little bit.
Did he get outrun by Riley Herbst?
Yes, he did.
Oh, come on, Cole.
Herbst showed some. To his credit, Herbst showed some real speed though.
Hey, he's doing good. He's doing better.
Herbst has 100% for top 10s in his Cup Series career. So I mean,
Goat talk
Best
here.
Rick Ware,
Top 75
best Rick
list.
Ware one.
One for one.
Yeah, I'm putting him on top 75, guys.
Mm.
Oh man. All right.
Suck pick for Cup.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yeah, who you think, Eric?
Tyler Reddick. I remember a couple of years ago, he showed out when he ran like top 3, top 2 until blowing a tire. I don't know. I just don't see it. I thought he was turning a corner at Vegas last week. He drove up into the top 15 in no time.
He finished.
And then he kind of stopped there. Like he started to charge a little bit late in stage 3 before I forget why he got shuffled back. Oh, he got really loose. I remember they're showing him. He was up to like 6th and then he almost wiped out and that knocked him back out to like 10th or 11th. But man, I don't know. I just, even last week, Bubba outran him by far and I don't know. I don't feel it.
I might seem, I swear, Hendrick fans are very much people who will get on you if you get something wrong. But I hate doing this. This guy isn't fast here. It's his home track. Alex Bowman. Prove me wrong, Blake Harris and Alex Bowman. Prove me wrong.
Save him, Blake. Save him.
That's not a bad one because he's been straight doo-doo after that 2016 race there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to agree with Eric. I'm going to agree with Eric though on this one, and I think Tyler Reddick, he's been straight doo-doo to start this year, so it's going to continue.
Dang, what is this? The freaking shit on Tyler Reddick segment? Because I picked him too. I picked him
Doo-doo
too.
on Tyler Reddick.
Oh my god.
To his credit though, the chat is taking the safe pick of Almirola, it seems. So
Yeah.
Our original.
If Almirola wins, do you think they lighten up on that?
Yeah, he's gotta win.
Let's not forget, guys. His last win was New Hampshire, a similar track.
That's true. I feel like if
You could be regretting this.
we don't have to change the rules mid-season, Jared, but going in the future, I think we should make it if your suck pick wins, you should like -5. Something like that.
I like that.
Oh,
Because
except, but then
I
like some
like-
stipulation.
Yeah.
I remember.
Like Rick Ware.
I remember
Yeah.
2021. I picked Bowman to suck twice, and he won the race.
No, yeah, you're right, Jared. There'd have to be some stipulations. Like you have to pick top 25 in points or something. I don't know.
But anyways, the chat, they're going with Almirola, of course. Of course, they're going with him.
Now, who's the underdog or the dark horse?
You all may be saying he's straight doo-doo, but I remember that 2016 race, and he didn't have Blake Harris on the pit box. 3 straight top 10s to start the year, make it 4. I think he's going for a top 5. Alexander Bowman. Is that his full name? Does he go by Alexander? Does his mother call him Alexander?
I don't know, but I wouldn't be shocked.
It could be short for like Alexi or something. Alexis Bowman will win at Phoenix.
I don't think it's Alexis.
It might.
You only
Let's go to Wikipedia.
you only remember that because Matt Kenseth got taken out with him.
Hey, look at and see. This is what I mean. I'm not biased.
What happened
at
in
all.
2016, bro? What happened in 2016?
I'm not gonna lie. I've seen some of the comments you've gotten for being a quote Bowman hater, and I've wondered if it was because of that moment.
No, I'm not a Bowman. That was Kenseth's spotter, and I love Kenseth's spotter that year. Chris Osborne's great. I don't know if he still spots. I know he's had off the track things affect his career, but he was a great spotter. Just made a mistake.
So someone said Bowman's not a dark horse. At this track, he kind of is.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that's fair. Well,
If
I just
Larson's a dark horse at the super speedways, then Bowman can be a dark horse.
Well, and he wasn't one of the top 5 or 6 or even best of the rest. I don't think in Darian's odds. I have to go back and look.
He wasn't what? Can you say that again?
Like Darian, the odds didn't have him as one of the top guys. I don't even think he was best of the rest.
He is plus. Actually, he's plus 3,000. He's plus 3,000.
Oh shit! Those odds.
Yeah.
Hey, consider a top 5 bet on him.
Yeah.
Well,
I bet those are not going to be the closing odds.
To get back to our picks here, I'm going to go with the guy. You know, we're talking about underdog, talking about dark horse, talking about overperforming how they're supposed to be running. I'm going to go with the guy who was in the rumors of being in the 9 car this week. 3 straight top 20s for Corey LaJoie. That 7 team, while not showing, even front row speed, I would say, I still think that they're showing a ton more speed. They're basically performing how we thought they would last year. So I'm gonna go Corey LaJoie. I think he will surprise people and maybe get another top 20 this week.
So really quick, full disclosure, I completely forgot who I picked for the underdog. So I'll just go with Brad Keselowski.
It was
Brad
Daniel
Keselowski.
Suarez.
Oh, was it? Oh, that sounds way better. All right. No, I'm switching up. Daniel Suarez. Yes, he has had solid speed from the very beginning of the season. I mean, at Vegas, he was one of the fastest Chevys, but unfortunately just couldn't get the track position game to go his way. So Daniel Suarez, man, he showed some flashes here in the past for brief moments. So, yeah, Daniel Suarez is going to be getting some help from Ross Chastain on how to run good here.
Two things. One, it wasn't your turn. Stay in your place, basement boy.
Oh, wasn't? Oh my god!
I'm just kidding.
Dude,
Basement boy.
We're so late. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna mute myself. I'm sorry.
I'm literally just kidding, Darren. Second, you took my pick anyway, so we both agreed on that.
Let's not go this late.
And I thought the chat put 9. A lot of 9s, a lot of 99s.
9s and 99.
Okay. Darren, I really feel harsh. I did not.
I feel bad.
Boy.
I feel bad.
That must be like off the podium problems.
Bro, it's on your channel. And I was just like, nope. I didn't even realize it. Oh.
You just gave me the stiff arm.
Gave you the Derrick Henry stiff arm.
Illegal hands to the face. Defense. Oh wait, I guess it'd be offense.
But no, everything you said, his team's pretty good here. I think it's Suarez, pretty underdog.
I am basement boy though. I mean,
everyone's seemingly saying the 9. They're saying Josh Berry.
Well, give him the 9.
Yeah, give him the 9 then. All right, and now for the main event. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win at Phoenix? Eric.
I accidentally kind of sort of spoiled my pick during the very first segment of today's show.
You did.
But this man, he was in the headlines this week, getting some criticism, some of it fair, some of it a little too far. But at Phoenix last year, he was top 5 in both races. I think he wins that fall race. If it wasn't his teammate out front running for the championship, I think you would have raced him a little harder. But he led over 100 laps in both races. Ford struggled at the intermediates the past couple weeks, especially last week, but this is an all-new style track and all new rules or aero package. I think Ford will be better. I think Ryan Blaney will be better. Ryan Blaney is going to win at Phoenix.
Well, I actually agree with that, and the reasoning I have too is because of its adaptability at Phoenix. Other than Joey Logano, he has been the best out there at Phoenix year after year. I looked at the last 5 races. He has a top 10 in every one of those races, 3 of them top 5s, 2 of those coming last year. And in that time as well, he's led 321 laps. He's basically led a Phoenix race plus 9 laps of overtime in the last 5 years. So I'm going to go with Blaney. I'm going to fall into the trap that Kyle Petty says we're all falling into and say at some point he's got to break through. And I say at Phoenix, he breaks through to win.
I'm going with someone who last year proved that they can be a legit contender, unlike some people. I'm just kidding. But he did finish 2nd and 3rd here at this track last year. I'm going with Ross Chastain. He did that, honestly, with horrible starting positions. In the spring, he started 17th. In the championship race, he started 25th. If they could just get a better qualifying run, I think they can bring the speed to get him where he needs to be. I think Chastain could win this race.
He won at this track his rookie season, so maybe it might he's returning to the track for the first time as a Chevy driver. Maybe history repeats itself. He's already off to a solid start. Hopefully he gets 2 of the first 4 wins for 2023. KFB Kyle Busch.
So when you said in the Xfinity race you're riding with him, you mean you're really riding with him?
I learned my lesson last week, so no, don't need to do that again. I'm already so far behind, man, and we just started, bro. I'm already 26 points behind. Yeah, basement boy. So Danny said that. He was telling the truth.
That is your nickname for the year, basement boy.
Until I get out of the basement.
Until you get out of the basement.
And then
basically, whoever's last year, basement boy.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing that now.
Yeah. Hey, let's make them basement chat. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to do. It's hard to do when they copy us each week.
Yeah, true that. But chat, who you going with? I'm seeing Blaney's. I'm seeing Busch.
It's a mix of 12 and 1, I think.
Okay,
I saw a lot of Chastains early on, but I've seen more Blaney's since then. So I think Blaney.
I'm gonna do a poll.
Hey,
I think.
I know this. While you do that, I know this is off NASCAR topic, but it's NASCAR owned and it's actually pretty big. breaking news.
Breaking
today, and we didn't really talking about it. We got the breaking news ticker and everything. IMSA has whacked the winning Rolex 24 entry for manipulating tire pressure data. The 60 car can keep the win, the watches, and the trophy, but they will lose 200 team and driver points. They lose all team and driver endurance cup points, loss of any race prize money, plus a $50,000 fine, and Mike Shank is on probation through June 30th, as well as loss of annual credential and indefinite suspension of their lead team engineer.
And I saw that they fired the person who apparently made the mistake. Like the team actually like fired the person.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I don't know who
they bent them over and brought the belt out.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they still got those Rolex watches. That's what I care most about.
That's not a belt.
They beat them with the Rolexes at that
point. They brought out the belt, then put that down, extension cord, then put that down, then freaking paddles, put that down. They gave them everything.
The wire hanger that they bent over.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it's brutal, dude. You were saying all this stuff. Oh, we have a breaking news ticker. I forgot.
Yep. Well,
this is awesome. I love the graphic.
we can move on now. I just wanted to bring that up. I kind of wanted to use that ticker. I'll be honest.
I just love. Oh, he can't do that.
And
every time I see that in the chat,
we do have the chat's pick poll. It says answer me, Basement Boy, Ross Chastain, or Ryan Blaney.
They seem to be leaning Chastain. I'm actually a little surprised.
Yeah.
No.
But maybe there's a lot of Kyle Petty supporters.
Them cheating Acuras.
Damn, too tough to tame. Damn, I wasn't saying. All right, let's move on.
Let's get to these super chats while we let the deal go.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right. Yeah. So picking up where we left off, JC1424 appreciate the $1. JC1424 appreciated $2, and they said, "I want a vanilla waiver."
I like. Hey, those are good though, especially in pudding. Those are good.
Gonna ruin this name. Tyler McGonagall. Appreciate the
Harry Potter character.
Professor.
Appreciate the $9.99. Iceberg. I'm not a Byron hater. Also, Iceberg when Byron dominates a race. Let's make a video explaining that it's not enough to dominate, and I need more from him. Us 24 fans just want honesty.
That's the honest. Damn. That's the honest truth. Your driver did really well and needs to do better on a regular basis.
So,
it's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
It's winning more than once or twice a year.
We got your back, Jarrett. We're making fun of their name.
Hey, thanks for the super chat, dog.
Yeah, thanks.
We love the opinions.
Let's be honest. We're the winners here with the super chat.
That's funny. That's funny though. It's funny. Everyone's a good sport.
It is pretty good.
Oh, he's in the chat again, talking about 24 still, I think.
I appreciate the determination.
NASCAR comparison, appreciate the $10. I'm not gonna read all this, man. I'm sorry, but basically, long story short, ask me if I've heard of this YouTube channel, and yeah, I have. I know they're probably pretty bad news. We're not gonna talk about who this is on the show, though.
Oh, okay.
I didn't catch who it was. We'll have to talk about after the show.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Now I'm curious. Who's Bad News Bears?
Okay, moving on. But thank you for the $10, man. Tyler McGonigal again, appreciate the $4.99. Sorry, Jarrett. It's just annoying to hear you say you don't hate Byron and then go and make a literal video saying he's not doing enough.
It sounds like you're a little insecure.
Oh, no. I mean, I agree with Jarrett's point. But I do think it's funny. Like, even when you're trying to be positive, Jarrett, you just give off this very like.
Well, it's okay. Hang the banner. You got one win. That's nice. Like, give me more. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think your driver's good enough that I give them good expectations.
Like, there you go. You take it as I take it as a compliment.
No, Jarrett's saying no. He sucks. No, he's not.
He's awful. He's a starting Parker and a Hendrick car. No, he's a great
bro. What's with the show tonight, bro?
Fire him yesterday.
Yeah, if there's anyone who should be mad at all of us, it's Danny with all of our Bowman speculation.
Avada Kedavra, his contract.
Hey, I ain't mad about the Bowman stuff. I just been saying all along. I told you so. So
yeah.
Shorty PJM, appreciate the 509. Wishing Champ Daddy Chase via Bubba the best recovery. Really missed his presence and prowess on Sunday, but so stoked for Rodney Sandstorm. Oh, Jordan Taylor.
His alias.
Need for Speed 5353, appreciated $2. Goofy ass stream tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Yeah, it's been fun, bro.
Yeah, and just for you and that, Ty Dillon.
Oh, Ty Dillon, indeed.
Ty Dillon, indeed.
It's
Dylan
nothing.
Ty?
That's crossing the line.
No, okay, sorry.
It's nothing. Appreciate the $2. Important question: best driver of all time or greatest? This is such a debate.
It's hard, bro. It's so hard. Bro.
I
interpret it as you will.
Can I laugh about something off topic real quick?
Yeah, go for
In
it.
the chat.
This show is already off topic enough.
I don't know why he said this. I don't know what the context was, but Hunter Nixon Fishing says David Land, the idiot. And I saw it popped up as like, oh, like, do you want to allow this message? And one of our mods, I don't know who, said yes, allow that message.
Hey,
love you, David, if you're
so
watching.
Yeah, like, we all love David on this show. That's why I just thought it was so funny that somebody was like, yeah, let's approve this comment.
The weird thing is, I know David, I like David. I know Hunter, I like Hunter. So.
Well, I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny that I'm sitting here like I saw it pop up and I thought, oh, maybe someone's gonna delete that. That's kind of mean. We like David, and then someone was like, no.
David Land will be the guest.
My friends don't like each other.
David Land will be the guest next week. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Where was he? Ross Crash Dane, appreciate the $2. Is the top 75 cup only or all three series? I think we're doing cup only for that.
Cup only makes it easier. It's
and
a little more.
Best versus did we cover best versus greatest of all time? I'm sorry, I kind of derailed this with the David.
I figured we're doing best and greatest like together as one. Like that's what they do. They did it based off like statistics as well as impression into the sport. So I think all that added together.
And when it comes to this, go off of just pure racing, and because like someone tried to say on Twitter, oh, I put Darrell Waltrip in top 5 over David Pearson, and it's like, well, why? And
you're doing too much.
And then they start saying, well, because of what they did off the track. Like, no, we're not doing off the track. I think greatest drivers.
I think you could. Okay, you can also put a like Darrell Waltrip or Dale Earnhardt over David Pearson, Richard Petty. You know, but give reasoning. Like if you have like give reasoning in your picks, and we'll actually probably talk about the reasoning you give on the show.
Just don't say because DW was great with Fox and also a car owner. That shouldn't be your reasoning.
Yeah, drivers.
Spotter Stand says that he already emailed, or I don't know if it's he or she. They already emailed their list with some lower series drivers as well. So but that's great that we already have people submitting their lists.
Yeah,
I should probably check and see where we're at with that. You guys keep going with super chats. I'll make sure.
Yeah.
Ross Crash Dane, appreciate the $5. Oh, another similarity between I think we said this, Kane and Blaney. The Cougars love them both.
Yeah, we talked about that one.
Yeah, we saw that one.
GN NASCAR Fan 24, appreciate the $2. Chicken noodle soup with croissant. Sounds good.
Oh, croissant meat. I miss croissant meat. I miss that.
Shorty PJ. But wait, no, hey, I just realized we got to change it. Kyle, are you going to finish your croissant?
So yeah, we got to change that.
Shorty PJ, appreciate the $5. You realize just how poop Ryan Blaney's pit crew is. He'd have around 12 wins, does nothing, winning the All-Star race the way he did, zero talking, period.
Okay, we can find excuses for every driver in the field. At the end of the day, the results aren't there. I mean, let's just be cut and dry with this already and stop playing the games.
Now Jarrett's coming after the Blaney.
I'll go after all of your drivers. I don't care.
None of you are safe.
And you know who would back me up when it comes to results based.
Ryan Blaney.
Every driver.
I will say, I think it was Auto Club a couple weeks ago. I noticed Blaney's pit crew cost him like 8 or 10 spots on like 3 straight stops. So I don't know. That's this year. Obviously, pit crews change every year a little bit. Yeah,
I've seen Jimmy Johnson's crew screw up. I saw him screw up an entire chase, and then in 2 races with a little added help, I will give you that. But he still had to overcome that, and he overcame that. So we can give all the excuses out of the book, but every driver has to deal with bad pit stops through the season.
They're calling you unhinged, a menace. They're after you. Right?
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
That's Jared being Jared, bro.
I've been this way for 6 years. I don't understand why tonight is so different.
That's
Hey,
why when you do
yeah,
see something,
Jared's like, you're just not realizing this.
I'm the one who always wins the hot take poll. Why are
that's why when you say something positive about William Byron, they still think you're being nothing but negative towards him. That you hate him.
God.
It's just you've built this brand up, Jared. I don't know what to tell you. It's gonna be a lot to overcome.
I'll overcome it, just like drivers should overcome bad pit crews.
Ooh.
Oh, damn. All right, Danny.
Man. I'm just having fun tonight, man.
Bring us
All
home,
right.
Danny. Bring us home.
Let's keep going. Antar Doss, appreciate the $1.99. Did you guys talk about Reddick's comments? Comments about what?
About the 550 thing?
Yeah,
we talked
feeling
about
more
that.
Okay,
550
yeah.
package.
And by the way, we're gonna go ahead and end the poll here. Chat, you have picked Chastain. You're riding with me.
Number one.
GN NASCAR fan, appreciate the $2. Going to Phoenix Raceway for the first time. Any tips? I've never been. Eric's been. Have either of you guys been?
No, I've never been.
I think
Never.
Phoenix is one of the best. I think I don't know what kind of ticket you have. If you're able to get an infield or whatever they call it, I think it's called the infield experience. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're going to be there the full weekend. Because I know there's not a ton of practice and qualifying, but there is some. And I think hanging around the garage during Friday and Saturday, especially, will be a great opportunity to see the cars up close. Maybe get some signatures and stuff from drivers. They do appearances back in there. But I think Phoenix's infield setup is arguably the best in NASCAR right now. So if you are able to get an infield ticket, I don't know how much they cost for this weekend, but it's probably worth it, especially if you're going to be there for 2 or 3 days.
Eric, don't forget about Vegas now. Don't forget about the Neon Garage
Phoenix.
now.
The Neon Garage is great. Phoenix it's
All
already.
right. I haven't been there, so I can't.
It's close. They're similar. They are. Phoenix is a little too spread out sometimes, which I know it's a small track, but it's very spread out. So sometimes you end up walking a long ways. That's my only small criticism.
And Napa Racing Fan 927, appreciate that $2 donation. Any updates on NASCAR returning to the fairgrounds? To my knowledge, nothing really significant there, huh?
They're talking about doing a vote possibly on Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday.
I was a little curious how all that was going because I think I saw that Mayor John Cooper will not seek re-election. He's been pretty high on this, so I've been wondering how that plays into it.
Let me find it really quick for you guys, and I can read it.
Seeing Nashville, the city itself, its relationship with NASCAR at this point, I don't see a change of mayor in Nashville is not as likely to affect NASCAR here as it is in Chicago per se. We'll just put it like that.
Yeah. All right, I'll find it, and you guys just keep going with super chats.
All right. Napa Racing Fan 927, appreciate that other $2. Note, Cup practice and ARCA race Friday is on FS2. So, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Tyler McGonigal, appreciate the $1.99, said, I do love you, Jarrett, though.
Oh, yeah? I saw it.
Hey, it's
That's
all
all
love,
good.
bro. It's all love here.
Hey, we're all
this
having...
isn't Twitter. This isn't Twitter, bro.
Yeah.
This is YouTube. It's all love here.
I honestly appreciate, the back and forth.
But besides, you couldn't reach Jarrett on Twitter.
Good point.
NASCAR comparison. Appreciate the $5. This year's Phoenix race can be like last year's Fontana race or the spring Martinsville race. There's a lot of uncertainty how the racing will be. And with the new package, that is true. Tyler McGonigal, appreciate the $4.99. Also, I hate Harry Potter. LOL. Just realizing that Danny is the one profiting off of me talking to Jarrett. I'll wait till it's on Eric's channel again.
Hey, keep talking, Jarrett. Keep talking, bro.
Now I feel bad for all the Harry Potter jokes. Sorry, Mr. McGonigal.
No, wait, he said he hates Harry Potter.
That's what I'm saying. I said I'm sorry for all the Harry Potter jokes.
Oh, I see. Okay. Appreciate you still donating. I also like that in realization that he's donating to me, he still donates. Fred Dog 81, appreciate the $5. Over under Fox goes 30 straight green flag laps at Phoenix at a commercial break. Great podcast to watch as always, guys. I would take the under on that.
Yeah, I'm going
I will take
30 seems a little long for Phoenix.
I'll take the under. Yeah,
I'll take the over. I think they could in late in the race, stage 3. They've definitely been front loading the commercials, and Mike Joy makes it a point to point that out at the beginning of stage 3.
I love that. He's like, hey, don't worry, this is the final one. I'm
last one.
You didn't do that before.
I think there's a chance, like the first 250 laps there won't be, but the last 70 or 80 or so, if it's like a green flag run, and there's a chance we'll go 30 plus laps. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Watch him get like 29 and a half laps. Okay, commercial. Alex Left, appreciate the $5. do we have to give reason for every pick in our top 75?
Not
No,
every.
Just the ridiculous ones.
No,
Just the
But
wrong
give,
ones.
give us some, because we will include them in when we talk about specific drivers.
I mean, if you do have someone that seems weird to us, if you don't want to give a reason, we're not gonna make you, but
Yeah, and don't go as far as to put reasons for every single driver.
But don't just say I have Dale Jr. as the number one driver because of Junior Motorsports. Don't say that. And that's it for the super chats.
I
Whoa.
cannot
Nice.
find where it went, but I saw somebody had tweeted it or put it on Instagram. I'm gonna double check on the Fairgrounds Instagram account just to double check.
Well, real quick, while
Nope,
you're
not
doing
there.
that, I'll go ahead and set us up for next week, where, as Mr. McGonigal said, he will wait to donate again when it is on Eric Easted's channel. Next week, Wednesday, March 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, it'll be on Eric Easted's channel for that race. We'll talk about Phoenix, and we'll get you set up for Atlanta Motor Speedway, where me and Darian will be heading down to Atlanta for that one.
Yes, sir.
That's exciting.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a fun weekend. Can't
Can
wait.
I take just one moment, Danny? I want to make
No.
sure everyone in the chat. Yeah, fair enough. Honestly, yeah, that's okay.
Go ahead.
No.
This Friday, March 10th, just in a couple of days, is a very special day. Many people may not be aware, but this is actually in the discussion of becoming a new federal holiday. We might start getting this day off work, off school. But March 10th is Matt Kenseth's 51st birthday. So happy birthday, Matt Kenseth. Woo!
I would love to see that on my calendar. Matt Kenseth's birthday.
I thought it was gonna be like some for real.
And you know
It's in my
what?
calendar.
And you know what? It's gonna be like Matt Kenseth's career, the most overlooked holiday of the year.
Oh, gosh.
Why did we have this day off? I don't know. Some guy from Wisconsin was born.
Hey, Eric, 13 wins in the Thunder sent through. No championship. Most wins without a championship in the sent through.
Oh, man.
I real quick, we had a very important super chat come in. $2 from Need for Speed 5353. E.
Sports.
No, just E. That was it.
Correct, Jam Plays Games. It will be a day of worship on Friday.
But yeah, that'll do it. You can catch us next week on Eric's channel, 8 p.m. Eastern time, where maybe we'll go for 2 hours, maybe we'll go for 2.5, maybe we'll go for 4 hours. You just show up and you leave and we say you can leave, okay?
Either way, I'm striking Darian with lightning. So
It's going to be 2 hours, I promise. I got to pee.
Yeah, I gotta go.
All right,
eat.
there,
I gotta eat
Forrest
some
Gump.
soup. I gotta eat some soup.
I got to go to sleep.
I chugged 2 big glasses of water laughing at Mitten's 9 lives.
I gotta
This is a
sum-
crazy night.
and
This is
I
a
have to
crazy night.
somehow edit down this podcast for the audio version.
Oh God, I feel
Everyone say thank you to Jarrett in the chat.
There's
Hey,
a
thanks,
good amount
Jared.
you can take out, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. But the problem is I have to listen through the whole thing.
Oh no.
I have fun laughing at the Mittens part.
Oh, I
Yeah,
will. I
there's
will.
a lot of good parts.
Mittens won't
Have
be,
fun,
but I will.
Have fun listening to this part. I can't wait for you
I'm
to find
leaving
that,
that in.
at like
I'm
at
leaving
3
it in.
o'clock in the morning. You're gonna be
man.
so dead tired. You're just gonna
Some podcasts actually put in an enticing part at the beginning of their shows to kind of tease the show. I think we should just put Eric's little noise in there as a teaser.
Mm.
We'll put that in
Mm.
right before
Oh,
the intro.
man.
You know, I'm writing it dodown.
Yep, write it down. But anyways, hey, we're done tonight. We're done. 2 hours, 30 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Real quick, Tyler McGonigal, appreciate the $1.99. Eric's
This
stream on
guy.
Eric's stream on the 10th. T9 celebrate.
Maybe.
Hey, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. There's no
I
race.
probably not, but maybe.
Hey,
yeah.
you could do a Matt Kenseth Kahoot.
Oh wait.
Ooh,
I think,
I don't.
yeah, maybe. I have an idea, maybe, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Are we done now?
Right?
Can we go home now?
Here we go now.
It's up to
chat.
you. You're the host.
Well, I think this is a good time now to talk about,
I'm muting you. We're going.
No, goodbye. Goodbye.
Have some fun tonight.
Don't
Go
break
get
out the
W.
mayonnaise.
Hell yeah. Ready. Green. What
Can
the copy? Right foot down. We got to go, player. Unbelievable, man. Way to keep your head in it. Holy yourself. Steve, you look beautiful. Doing great.